And Cubelic in the welcome in McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is Tuesday, July the 1st. We made it to July, which means we are 1 month away from the month that contains college football. Glad you're with us. A lot to get to today. Bruce Feldman. A couple cool articles out in the last week or so from Bruce that we want to talk about at 9:15 today. The only guest that we will have today, and we'll talk college football throughout the course of the show. Take your calls, 800-239-9569. Get your feedback. G-Mac, how's the trip been so far?
Been good, buddy. The entire family yesterday, a lot of sleep. The drive took it out of us the night before, so went to bed early last night, woke up late today, and pulled it, played a ton of wiffle ball, just had a good time with the family, man. It's been good so far. What do y'all got going? Hang?
Yeah, nothing.
Love it. How good is that, though?
There's things, but wife birthday yesterday, and I was going to ask kind of the group today collectively, and it didn't hit me until last night because I got her a cookie cake yesterday, and I think my daughter said something about, we're all cookie cake people, and I started thinking about it, and it's like, I can't remember the last time we had regular birthday cake for a member of our family. So given your choice, which direction would you go?
Cookie cake.
John?
Just a regular plain birthday cake?
Well, I mean, you get to pick your cake if you want strawberry cake, if you want chocolate cake, like you pick your birthday cake. But
if we're doing that, then I'll choose like an egg or strawberry cake or something like that. But just a plain yellow with white icing birthday cake, give me the cookie cake.
Why does it have to be plain yellow icing?
If it's just that's the plain normal Publix $20 birthday cake, whatever it is,
Okay.
Well, like what is this? Did you say egg or strawberry cake? Because that's what I heard.
From Edgar's,
strawberry cake.
Strawberry cake.
Which, I mean, that's tough to beat. I wouldn't really go against
forget my option, right?
But I think if I'm given the choice, I would go cookie cake. I don't know. We've all just in my family gotten to that point where that's where we're going to go. That's what it's going to be. That's everybody's sort of go to.
You could talk me into an ice cream cake. And I will admit there's been a couple of birthday parties that our kids have had and that our kids have attended where they've had a standard cake. I don't know exactly where from, but it is legit cake. I mean, really good. Also a big wedding cake fan. Love wedding cake. So ice cream cake, wedding cake, and or any other type of cake are fine, but I personally am a cookie cake person. I like chocolate chip cookies. It's like my favorite dessert.
I can't remember the last time I had an ice cream cake, like even a piece, not just for my celebration of anything, but just like a piece of an ice cream cake. It just feels kind of foreign to me now. It's been a minute since I've had that. So
I don't like the two of them together. Like obviously I love ice cream and cake, but like even if you have like ice cream over like a warm slice of cake, I don't like that because I feel like the cake gets all soggy and then all the bits get in the ice cream and I was like, this is too much. We're wasting stuff.
So what if you have like cookie cake, you put ice cream on that?
No need.
Ooh.
It's got icing. I will enjoy the ice cream, but I don't need to dollop it on top of it.
Like if you get like a skillet cookie at a place, you don't.
Mm-mm.
Oh wow.
That's ridiculous, Sean. I mean, come on.
I feel like you're missing the boat there.
Yeah, I will admit this is a slight hot take. Cookie cake icing, not my favorite. I like just the normal pieces that have minimal amounts of ice cream. That just kind of, I'll take like a little spoon and kind of evenly spread it across. I'm not one that wants the heavy icing piece. You know what I mean? The one that all the kids are clamoring for.
That feels a little worse than what I said.
It does. It is.
No,
actually.
no.
Yeah.
No. I just don't like blue teeth or red teeth or whatever, any of that stuff. Like that stuff is so loaded up with dyes that I can't even deal with it. Like I just can't think about it. It kind of stresses me out. So
you go colors on the cookie cake?
On the cookie cake.
You go colors?
Yeah. Most of the time, we're getting some type of color. My favorite color is green. My kids' favorite colors change every day, but I think as of most recent question to them, Vince was red, JG was blue, and Meredith pretty much likes all colors. So we normally go colors. Do you go just black and white cookie cake? Like what are we doing?
Yeah, I didn't realize they did colors.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. we can get a poll question going cookie cake, regular cake. If you're celebrating something, which direction would you want to go? But yeah, the no icing, that's just weird.
Minimal icing, not loaded with icing.
Nah,
Minimal.
I'll take a lot.
I mean, might as well be, right, yeah.
I feel like I had a ton of bites yesterday, just a couple small pieces, but it was definitely the pieces with more icing. No doubt about that. So,
what size do you get?
Well, we get medium. I don't really care. I'll say it. We get the medium one from Cookie Fix because it's like 1.5 inches deep. So it's, I mean, you don't need the large one from there.
Oh, no, at that point, yeah.
I mean, it's heavy, it's rich,
but
so
worth it.
you can't get the big one because the pieces that you eat are a lot smaller. So, but their icing is compared to Great American Cookie Company, not even close. Like it's not even close. Just totally different. And so, yeah, I'm going icing on that one. I almost bought the extra tub of icing yesterday.
Oh,
I picked it
That's
up.
my boy. Yeah.
Just scoop it on the extra pieces that don't have the name on it, whatever, around the edges. Just slap some of that on there and be ready to roll.
Okay, it's going to sound really bad. Where's Cookie Fix?
Cahaba Heights, Homewood, Huntsville,
Gotcha.
Nashville,
Oh, so they're all
Mobile, I think, Montgomery now. Yeah. You've never had Cookie Fix.
I have not.
Oh boy.
No, never had Cookie
And
Fix.
I thought you, of all of us, I
have-
thought you've lived. Wow.
No, I'm comfortable in my own skin. Like, to be honest with you, we don't often frequent just cookies on the reg. I didn't
You just
even
said
know there
chocolate
was
chip
another.
cookies are your favorite dessert.
They are. But I just get standard. I don't know what kind Meredith has, but it's not Cookie Fix. She'll go get some at the grocery store, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. But Cookie Fix is I'm sure terrific. But I did not know there were others that made cookie cakes outside of Great American Cookie Company. I thought that was a one and only.
No, definitely not.
You can
I mean, I
get
think you can get it
knockoffs
at Kroger.
like your local Publix. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Those are knockoffs. That's the stuff that got sold from Great American Cookie Company because it went bad, and now you can buy it at Publix. It's just not the same.
Fair question coming in from Bama Posey. What exactly makes a giant cookie a, quote, cake? It's not a cake. It's a cookie cake.
Yeah.
And it has a candle in it, and you light the candle for someone's birthday and it says happy birthday, whoever on it. And it's in the shape of a cake, I guess. I guess it's a fair question, but I'm not going to be mad at it.
Because calling it cookie pie would just feel weird.
No, I mean, I get it. If you want to go with the technicalities there, you can. I prefer to enjoy it.
It's called cookie cake. We're calling it cookie cake.
I'm not going to be mad at it.
I've never heard of anybody call it anything other than cookie cake. What do you call it?
Well, I think
Cookie
he's just
pizza?
saying I think he's just saying it's just cookie, just a big cookie, which is probably fair. I'm not going to say that you're completely wrong, but I'm also not going to say that I'm mad at people for calling it cookie cake.
So an open face double doozy.
Oh,
If we want to get Gordon Ramsay in here.
yeah. If you try to do a double doozy that big, I don't know how you could.
Oh yeah, that's
Like some of the stuff they do at the state fair, and invite Guinness, and say, "Look at this," and then people like go grab a. That's like the giant Pop-Tart after the game, honestly. Is what
pretty
it
much,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. You just go scoop a handful, and say, "I had some of that," and then you see it, and you're like, "I don't think I need that. I'm good." But yeah,
I've been told
it's
by
still a
Meredith
cookie.
that I have
but
definitely had Cookie Fix before. But now I'm looking at their cookie cakes and or large cookies, according to the previous comment. I don't know if I think I need to try this. Like, can you get any flavor on the cookie cake?
that
Or
I
is it
don't
just
know.
one flavor.
I think it's just one.
Yeah, these are the things I need to know.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. I've never even asked. I just cook a cake and I order, and they tell me when it's going to be ready, and I go pick it up. But I haven't.
15 to 18 servings on the medium cookie cake. You sure that's enough?
Nah.
I mean, that'll last you 2 weeks.
I mean, if
you have a serving
if you're
a day.
including the 5-year-old, yeah.
So Cole has 5 servings. Kat probably has 3 servings. And the kids have 3 servings, and you finish the whole thing? Or do you have leftover?
I'm telling you, you can't have that much of this cake. or this cookie, whatever you want to call it. It is that rich, specifically with the icing. You can't do it. Like, you take a normal slice of Great American cookie cake that I would have, and this is probably going to be half, if not less.
Really?
Well, it's also 3 times as deep.
Yeah, keep in mind he's a Pequod's guy. He's not a New York pizza guy. So
I am a New York pizza guy.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
rest in peace, New York pizza. We miss you.
Well, I mean New York style, not the actual place. But you're more the deep dish kind, not the thin crust. So given the choice, you'd rather cookie fix. That's the deep dish.
Thick over thin. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely a thick guy. We had thin crust pizza last night, and it was
It's a waste of time.
I felt like I was eating off a cracker.
Total waste of time.
It's just not good. Dad's like, it's too doughy. I'm like, my tastes have evolved. I don't like this cracker pizza. So I might like the deep dish cookie cake. You could definitely talk me into that. I feel good about it.
Mr. Pruitt tweets into the show, Greg not having cookie fix is an issue. I kind of agree.
I've been told I have had cookie fix from my wife.
I feel like you remember it.
I'm not like keeping score. Like, this chocolate chip cookie is better than that chocolate chip cookie. Like, I'm not a cookie monster. Like, I'm not keeping track of it.
I don't feel like Cookie Monster does either. He just shoves them all in and crumbs go everywhere. I don't feel like he's keeping score either. He doesn't feel very organized.
You can get toppings on the cookie cake. I might get one myself today.
Unless there's a cookie fix in Mountain Brook Village. Like, if I'm going all the way to Cahaba Heights from where we live, I'm probably not going to have it very often. Like, the one that they just opened, what is it, Insomnia? I don't even remember what they call it.
Yeah, this is different.
Yeah, the other one, though, that just opened in Mountain Brook Village, and it's literally 3 minutes from the house. Like, by the time I go and pick them up, I've already taught... If I were to drive
you
to
stop by the one at Greystone when you're going to play around.
I don't drive more than 7 minutes to get cookies.
Ugh, the bubble.
Unless it's extremely convenient, I'm going to talk myself out of it before I get there.
I got to go to Vestavia to get this? Ugh.
It's not that.
It's not even Vestavia, though. This quote, Cahaba Heights, it's the city of Vestavia, but it's like a 9-iron from Mountain Brook. It's like it borders Mountain Brook easily.
If I'm going to quote pick up dessert, it needs to be crazy convenient. Now I'll go pick up food. Like, there's a million restaurants that I really like, El Zunzun, a handful of others.
I count cookies as food.
I'll go over there all the time for restaurants. I'll drive to Tuscaloosa for a restaurant. Like, I don't care. But to get dessert, I'm probably not going to drive more than 4 or 5 minutes. It's just my opinion. Not a huge dessert guy to begin with. It needs to be convenient. And I don't remember the name of the cookie one in Mountain Brook Village, but that's where we've gone recently. But I might need to just expand. I might need to expand to cookie fixes. If it's that much better, I might need to expand. I'm just suggesting I'll give it a whirl. You
guys could drive down to Peachtree Corners, Georgia today and get some. I don't know how far that is from you, but they've got one.
7 hours. No biggie. I'll go pick it up real quick. Clearly, that's not a prohibitive for you guys, is how far your cookies are.
I also don't feel like we were driving to this place to get dessert. I feel like you're like, we went there to get something to celebrate someone's birthday. Like, it wasn't like, okay, we're done with dinner, let's drive and get dessert. It wasn't like that. I mean, and you don't have to. You also don't have to get one cookie either. I mean, you can go in there and get a tin of cookies, or you could get, 5 cookies and take them home and have them the next day. So
perhaps,
yeah,
if you're
I don't feel like it's like get in the car now. Hopefully, we can beat bedtime and go get dessert before it happens. But I do agree with the listener. It's an issue that apparently you've been told you've had it. I think you would know if you've had it. So
yeah. Well, I've been told by my wife.
And the cookie cake specifically, you would absolutely know the difference because it's not even
I've
close.
Never had the cookie cake. That I can confirm.
Yes. That's
with 100% certainty because Crumble is the one. Crumble's the cookie in Mountain Brook, which are delicious, by the way. There's also the first Crumble I ever had was over there in Vestavia, ironically. We were eating at Taco Mama in Vestavia and decided to go to Crumble Cookie right afterwards, and it was delicious.
Man, what took y'all over there?
Great 1-2 punch. We might have gone to a movie. I think we did, actually. Go to the AMC,
gotcha.
See a movie, go to Taco Mama, dinner, go to Crumble, just what we needed after 17 Sour Patch boxes. and
John,
the
what would
movie.
you rank Cookie Fix on a scale of 1 to 10 in general?
12?
What would you rank Crumble?
4?
I wouldn't be far off that.
Convenience.
Yeah. Louis Jarman tweets
if you
in.
If you had Crumble 3 minutes from your house, you'd probably eat there more often than Cookie Fix. No?
I don't feel the need to go to Crumble, really.
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying it's convenient.
It just feels like you're doing too much.
Louis Jarman tweets in, not a sponsor of the show, but they could be. Cookie Fix's July special this week, red velvet version of their doozy. I also feel like red velvet's kind of a stretch for a cookie sometimes, but hey, it to each their own. If that's what you need, they did have one yesterday when I picked up the cookie cake that was kind of like a sugar cookie with all the icing on the top, and I literally thought about buying 2 and just smashing them together. Nah, we're getting the cookie cake. Probably don't need that. Should have gotten the extra icing, though. That would have been worth it. I'm telling you, this icing's different, man. It's different. It's like Cookie Fix is SEC football. It just means more. It's different. You watch it, and it's different. You taste it, and it's different. It's built different. It's like Cookie Fix is like Alabama strength and conditioning. It's built by Bama.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Crumble is the Big 12.
Well, Crumble's highly
Great American
competitive.
Cookie Cake is the Big 10.
Current Big 12, not like
Yeah.
90s Big 12. Right, yeah.
Correct.
Still highly competitive. Entertaining product.
Insomnia, Pac-12. Only because it's open late.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. They
I don't
give
remember
you
last
good
time
stuff
I've
at
had
night.
Insomnia.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
I might put Publix cookie section ahead of Crumble. I feel like Crumble tries too hard.
Yeah.
Maybe it does.
But again, that's just me.
I'll be curious to see how much freebies Cole gets from Cookie Fix after this strong ringing endorsement.
This is definitely the reason that I'm doing it. And I promise, I don't think they need to give me any freebies. So
Maybe just a tub of icing.
I'll take one. Y'all know where the house is. You got my address.
Ooh,
Make it happen.
just arrives one day randomly, mysteriously.
We would
Bag
take
of
it.
poop on top of it.
We would take it. Not that though.
Delivered by Carpenter.
I did have a listener yesterday DM me on Instagram and say that he runs in my neighborhood, and he said, just be warned, there is an older lady with a golden retriever who I witnessed their dog using the bathroom in your yard, and she walked away.
Uh-huh.
So whoever you are, lady, be aware. Because if I catch you and get you on video, it is going on every social media platform I own. Golden retriever lady, you're out there somewhere. I know you are. This is your warning. Don't do it again. Because the cameras are being altered. And when we catch you, you will be posted multiple times.
Particular set of skills.
That's right.
I will find you.
That make
I
me
will
a
catch
nightmare
you.
for people like you.
Yeah.
Louis DeArmond tweets in, Crumble has a BYU tie-in with recent news. Back
I'm
with
not
more
sure I
Mac.
understand.
Back with more Mac and Cube next. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. A couple folks chiming in, and then we'll move to college football. I feel like some folks annoyed with this conversation early here on Tuesday, July the 1st, as we head into July 4th weekend, an inch closer to college football season. Chase, Arkansas, tweets in, every birthday I get a cake with buttercream icing and top that bad boy off with vanilla ice cream. John says no go. No ice cream with cake.
Not together. You can have it separate, have the ice cream in a separate bowl, but if you put it on top of the cake, it's going to melt and make the cake soggy, and no.
Houston Daniel, at Coach Daniel, first 15 minutes of Mac and Q have been about cookies. We need college football to hurry up.
Hello, Mobile. Thanks for tuning in today because this is day one down at Mobile, and we brought them cookies, literally.
Let's go.
I mean, that's what a guest should do, like bring something when you're coming in.
Hold on a second here. Let me see something. Okay. Let's just one moment, please. All right, Greg, let's dive into Tennessee's offensive line here. Talk about what we think they might be this year. Max Anderson's going to get to go at center, of course. You're going to lose a guy that started for 3 years. What do you think this does? What do you think this changes for Tennessee's offense and their offensive line?
I think they'll be all right. They'll be fine. They have 5-star guys. So that's all you need. I've been told you have 5 stars, it's all you need. Probably going to be better than the guys that are currently playing in the NFL.
What does Josh Heupel need to expand in his offense, maybe do different, be different offensively to give himself more tactical advantages in football games this fall?
Just improve quarterback play. Pretty steady. Last year, the quarterback missed so many deep balls it can't even count. He's gone now, though, so that's hopefully Joey Aguilar.
Take us inside Joey Aguilar, the technicalities
throws.
of what's going to make him a good fit for this offense. What do you see from his footwork?
I don't know. This is aggressive. What's the deal here? Why are we subjecting ourselves to one listener's comments?
Because we have to get into football.
We have thousands of people listening right now, and yet we're concerned with one person. We also have 2 hours and 36 more minutes. Let's rip. We got plenty of time. No need to go rapid fire Tennessee Volunteers. I ain't worried about it. We play to an audience of thousands, millions around the world. And we're happy to have Mobile here with us.
Greg Skipworth says that Crumble has a cornbread cookie. Nah, that can't be a thing.
Cornbread is too easily messed up to be able to subject myself to some random cookie place. Doesn't matter which one. Cornbread, a good quality cornbread, they're hard to come by. They're often too dry. So, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm willing to try that one.
Who needs to step up around Lenore Sellers to help the South Carolina offense take off this year?
Wide receivers.
Nick Harbor?
He'd be a good start. He certainly looks the part, but a little bit more to it than that. I didn't know just running fast, jumping high, and being big. That's all you need to do to be a high-level wide receiver.
Is that group a little underrated, though? Like, Mazio Bennett's a guy that we like. You've got Jared Brown, transferred in from Coastal previous year, that has had some success. Maybe a couple of freshmen can come in and contribute. I think a lot of people look at it as just a group that's not going to be good, period. I think the biggest issue may be with what you lost at tight end and what he was last year, and then that's going to be gone, and you don't have that outlet to be able to give you different options off play action and in the intermediate passing game. But is wide receiver going to be a lot better for South Carolina this year? Obviously, if they stay healthy, because that was one of the bigger problems last year.
To be last year was just the injury issues, and frankly, they're just too small at wide receiver last year. Like, they just had small guys, and Lenoris is a little bit of a work in progress from a super tight accuracy standpoint. You could say Nick Harbor was big. Look how big, but he couldn't catch. So that's kind of part of the job description there. Mazio Bennett's terrific. I think he's an excellent slot receiver, but he is exclusively a slot receiver. Like, he's not a guy that can live on the outside at all. Vandrefius Jacobs is also a guy that I think has a chance to be pretty good. And they have 5 or 6 freshmen that, look, we saw last year that you can be a freshman, step right in, and become a difference maker. Like, that is absolutely 100% possible. So here's hoping that Mazio continues his progress. Nick Harbor develops a consistent reputation for catching the football. Jared Brown could stay healthy all year. Dre Jacobs continues to be a rock-solid number 4 that's kind of an up-and-comer, and one of their freshmen could pop, and they'll be in great shape. But those are all legitimate questions.
I did see an article today at CBSSports.com, and it was kind of underachievers, or really, I think, teams that they feel like could go both ways, teams that maybe could end up being knocking on the door of the playoff or could be sub 500. I want to get to those teams and kind of go through what we think about those and which ones we might add to that list here in just a few moments. But first, I'll tell you about our friends at Train. You guys know the weather can be brutal. It was hot yesterday. That heat and humidity here in Alabama is rough. Don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Train cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand 11 consecutive years, and they're your official cooling partner here at Jox. Find a comfort specialist near you at Train.com. It's hard to stop a Train. Coin flip teams this upcoming college football season. We'll discuss some of those right after this on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We will get to college football teams. Could go up, could go down this season. Maybe that it's difficult to pinpoint our expectations on in just a moment. 800-239-9569. You want to be a part of the show. 800-239-WJOX. You can call the show. You can tweet in at Mac and Cube. Always easy way to be a part of the show there. And quickly, I'll tell you about your CBD store. If you have arthritis, if you have anxiety, if you have a pet in your household that struggles from the same issues, gut health for you or your pet, skin care for yourself, you're looking to maybe lose a little bit of weight, the Trim by SunMed on the shelves now at the largest brick-and-mortar CBD retailer in the world. If you're looking for better focus throughout the course of the day, there are multiple products now at your CBD store that can help you with that. First company to have USDA certified organic oil supplement. They've got the stamp seal on those products. Your CBD store, where good health hits home. Check out one of their 3 locations: Highway 280 by Bailey Brothers, 150 by the Cage in Cleaver, and Trustful just off 459. Trip is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Wants to chime in on this morning's conversation. Welcome into the show, Trip.
Hey, Cole. Real quick before I get to the college football topic, we did have a similar incident here in Raleigh. For about 3 months, there was a gentleman that was taking a bag of, pet material and throwing on somebody's front porch. And then the next door sort of army went out there and finally found the guy. But it was like a 3-month sort of saga. I think it even made the local news. So you're not the only one dealing with pet owners incapable of sort of doing what they're supposed to do. So anyway, I thought
Hold on a second. Was he trying to enact revenge somehow, or does he just feel like this for fun?
That's what I never really got to the root of the reason why this guy was doing that, but maybe it was just born out of just pure laziness, because it seemed to be like the spot where the dog was sort of comfortable doing his business, and then he just took the bag and just tossed it on the guy's front stoop, like right in front of his house. So not only it's sort of like a double whammy. Like, hey, my dog's gonna, do his business right here, and then I'm just gonna leave behind the evidence for you to clean up.
So it was really that's got to be personal somehow, some way. Has to be.
Yeah, that's like serial killer vibes. So it's personal. So.
Yes. All right, what's on your mind from a football perspective?
Well, yeah, I wanted to. I think it was Danny White is the UT AD that kind of put out there the collective bargaining sort of premise. And I feel like collective bargaining with college football specifically is a very sort of reflexive sort of reaction to what's going on with all the disruption. But I just don't find it to be realistic given the volume of, union members you would have to assemble. But I think there's a more realistic model, and it's right in Danny's, front door. And that's like the university hospital system. For example, like the University of Tennessee Hospital, they license the University of Tennessee name. They operate independently, and then there's no collective bargaining. The free market just determines salary. It's like the University of Tennessee Hospital nurses don't collectively bargain with the University of North Carolina Hospital nurses on salary. They let the two entities compete for talent, just like the college football schools could do. They could compete for talent, and just let the free market determine the pay. I feel like this is so simple, but I don't really hear anybody really kind of espousing that sort of thought. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
That's where we're at right now.
Go ahead, Greg, because Greg's got more experience with collective bargaining than I do. So
I 100% agree with you. I think collective bargaining, as someone that was a member of a union and remains a member of a union as a past player in the NFLPA, I think it's completely impossible to assume that those guys can get together and collectively bargain. If you think that the players' experiences at Duke are the same as the players' experiences at even let's just say North Carolina, they're 10 miles away from each other, and the players are completely different. And the players' experiences and the players' needs, the players' wants are completely different. You think it's different from USC to UCLA, totally different. Well, now let's just go compare it across the entire scope of what we're dealing with. The players' experience at Sacramento State are very different from that of the players' experience at Florida State. And the needs, the wants, at least in the NFL, you had a fighting chance. There were only 1,600 of us that were collectively bargaining. That's literally 10 schools worth of players. And there's 134. So if you think that there's any chance possible that these guys are going to be able to collectively bargain, the only person that benefits from a collectively bargained situation is the attorneys that represent the players. That's the only people that will benefit. And attorneys, let's be real. I mean, the guys that are doing this type of stuff, I don't trust them. I think a lot of them are totally in it for themselves. And I don't trust them at all. So, yeah, I think it's great that that was floated out there because I think that's exactly what the universities want because they know they will crush the players in that situation.
University hospital model will at least be realistic just because it would be a model that the universities are familiar with. They've actually seen it sort of executed. It's not unfamiliar where they're like, hey, we have no idea what that would look like. In other words, they have a whole basically network of all these university hospitals, and they can see how simple it is. And then you just let the free market determine pay. In other words,
but is that not the type of situation that we're in right now? Like, I'm not super familiar with the university hospitals and the workers at the university hospitals, what they make, how they make it, what have you. I think what you're describing is exactly what we're dealing with today in college football. So how is what you're describing different than what is the current status quo?
Well, what it would do is it would give the players an employee framework. In other words, they're not employees. So this would allow the schools to sign, for example, a player to a contract, just like you would in any other, free market business. So that way you could put a non-compete clause in there. You could put a buyout in there. You could have contracts of varying lengths and terms. You could have a 2-year contract with a school option. You could have a 2-year contract with a player option. And that way you'd have a more stable ecosystem where people wouldn't be going from school to school. It would be employees. They would have to pay taxes. They would get benefits. And they could basically, there'd be an open free market to determine salary just because, the player that's being recruited by Ohio State is going to command a much greater salary than somebody who's maybe being recruited by Sacramento State. And that's okay because in the real world, IBM pays more than the 5 headcount private software company down the street. It's apples to oranges, but that's
part of the problem. That's part of the problem is that in that scenario that you described, that's what the universities are trying to avoid. Yes, Ohio State, Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, SMU, they're all capable of spending an exorbitant amount of money, which in many ways is considered unfair. That's why they've tried to implement in this House settlement a maximum of $20.5 million to be spent by the university's athletic department on players. And the employment structure is great from the university standpoint. I think it would kind of calm things down, but that's been a hot topic of debate. Employees versus non-employees. They've opted to go the non-employee route. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I personally view them still as employees. But it allows them a little bit more freedom and protection from the contracts that you just described. But what I don't understand is what I'm excited about is that everybody will once again have a, for the most part, level playing field. And the actual NIL has to be authentic NIL from that point forward. Does that mean that the players at Alabama are going to earn more than the players at Tennessee Tech? Yes, because the brand that they associate themselves with is significantly higher. The upside is there. So, yes, there's still going to be an advantage given to those biggest brands, but it's not going to be a sizable enough advantage to where Ohio State, if they want to pay $100 million for their roster, they can, and everybody else that they're competing against can only pay 20. So I'm excited about some of the changes that's been made.
I know they've leveled the playing field with sort of the restricted earnings kind of component of like the 20.5 million or the 22%. But isn't that sort of almost like an artificial, leveling of the playing field? It's almost like an optical sort of leveling of the playing field because the underlying resources that some of these schools have is just devastating relative to the other schools. In other words, the recruiting resources and just the underlying resources Texas has dwarf those of, let's say, even like a Big 12 school like the University of Arizona. So even though they've leveled the playing field on the pay, I feel like the resources for Texas is always going to be, just 10x more than Arizona could ever have. And the playing field really isn't leveled. Is that a fair argument? And I've taken up way too much of your time, so I'll hang up and listen to your response.
You're good. Appreciate the
does
call.
that kind of make sense?
No, I mean, yeah, it's not going to ever be level. It's a little bit like the MLB, but at least there's a luxury tax now. Like, that's the way I'd look at it. If you're more familiar with MLB structure, yes, the Yankees and the Dodgers will always have the most advantages, followed by the Mets, followed by the big market organizations. But there's at least now a bit of a luxury tax. There's a few hurdles that exist that have to be cleared by the university in order to compensate their players more, because there is now a college sports commission that every single deal worth over $600 is scrutinized and made sure that it was, quote, fair market value. So I think that we're taking steps in the right direction. It's never going to be level. It's college football, for crying out loud. There's going to be people dropping off bags of $10,000 on people's back porches. Like, that's still going to happen. But it doesn't mean that it's not better today than it was, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. So it's a complicated discussion because of, as it was laid out to you a little bit earlier, two entities competing with one another. There's no way to directly correlate that in college football. I mean, you could maybe say SEC Big Ten, or you could say schools within the SEC, but then that's still not one or the other, and how different all the different schools are structured, either through government subsidization or just how they're built through as far as who has power inside the structure of the academic institution itself. And then obviously you have different booster influences, amount of money that's being able to brought in outside of what potentially is being shared with the athletes that obviously can change a lot. It's just there's no balance there at all to be able to say it that way. So it's a very difficult conversation. But we will give you some more added value. Speaking of, here on Jox, I'll introduce you to my friend and wealth advisor, Tad Hill, your trusted retirement planning partner. Tad is the co-host of the Retire with Freedom radio and TV shows in Birmingham, Huntsville. Has also been designated by Forbes as the #1 financial securities professional in the state of Alabama multiple years running. Tad, what do you have for us today?
Okay, today is a topic that we've discussed before, but it's a pretty constant issue, and that is market volatility. And definitely the markets have been topsy-turvy for months in a row now. And if you're already retired or you're within 5 years of it, there's a thing called sequence of returns risk. And I can't go through all the math here. I can do that in our course or in a visit. But the bottom line is, if you get poor returns early in your retirement, then you are at a much higher risk of running out of money. And our Retire with Freedom process is designed to help you build a plan to insulate you from that. We can help you. I would really encourage you to come to one of our courses or come in for a visit. And the way to do that is to text JOX at 205-988-0006. That's 205-988-0006. Text JOX, 205-988-0006.
This is a paid placement. Investment advisory services are made available through AE Wealth Management. For more information about Forbes rankings, visit Forbes.com.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Going to get into some college football. I mentioned a little bit earlier some college football teams that maybe could go one way or the other. We'll discuss those here in a moment. First, Craig, tell our listeners about Shannara Flooring.
Well, Shannara Flooring is a great spot where Foo has built a company on foundation of trust and integrity. Right now is a great time to go take advantage too. You have one more day. That's one more day to take advantage of some of this incredible savings. My friends at Shannara Flooring are proud to be the only dealer with over 40,000 square feet of CoreTech flooring by Shaw in stock. So you can get $5 off per box when you order it from Shannara Flooring. They have a bunch of it. They want to give it to you at a really good price. It's 100% waterproof, pet-proof, and durable flooring that you guys will absolutely love. But if you don't want to go with the CoreTech, they still have options for you to save some money. 15% off flooring now through tomorrow. So you order it today, you can get savings at 15% off, starting at $150 and only going up from there. So you got 12 months financing with approved credit, and you can see it all online at foodandyou.com.
All right, so article is up now at cbssports.com. Carter Bonds has written this article. College football wildcard teams. A couple of the teams that are the biggest mysteries entering 2025. So I'm going to ask you, Greg, the teams he has listed, because there are some of these that we've talked about and we have some confidence in. We have a lot of questions about. Are you closer to 10 wins or 5 wins on this upcoming season for the teams that we're going to mention? First are the Utah Utes. There is a lot to like. Devin Dampier, quarterback. They're going to get more dynamic there. They have 2 of the better tackles in all of college football. The offensive line should be solid. Kyle Whittingham back, and obviously we know what he has meant, what he's done for that program. Closer to 10 or closer to 5 for Utah going into this season?
Closer to 5.
Ooh.
I like them. And if you look at their schedule, there's a lot of reasons to like Utah this year. But I have a kind of a tough time envisioning, like Devin Dampier I really like, but 10 wins in the Big 12? Like, who do you feel good about winning 10 in the Big 12?
Not a ton of teams, but that does give you a little bit of maybe flexibility to say if a team extends my expectations, then they might have a better chance to be able to do that because it doesn't feel like there's 2-3 power teams there.
See, they have Kansas State at home, Texas Tech at home. They're at Arizona State. They're at BYU. Other than that, I think their schedule is relatively manageable. They're at Baylor. They're at Kansas. Like, there's a couple games that I think are really tricky. I like them, but to expect them to win 10, I have a hard time there. Like, I don't see a Big 12 team getting over 9.
Yeah, they do have a weird road schedule, as you mentioned. I mean, opening up at UCLA, at Wyoming week 3, and then, of course, West Virginia, as you stated. At BYU, of course, is Holy War, going to be a difficult place to go play that specific game. They're at Kansas late, at Baylor late. That's just I don't love the road schedule, but again, I think there are pieces of that team that could be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I kind of look at BYU the same way. I look at Arizona State in a similar fashion. I look at Baylor, Kansas State, Kansas in similar fashions. Like, I think all those teams could end up being pretty good. I think all those teams, an injury or two away from being decent or above average. And Texas Tech's a team that, how much have we talked about them? People think they're going to extend this year. We don't really know how they're going to look. I mean, they're an obvious wild card. So I think the problem with, I see kind of where you're going is there are a lot of wild cards on the schedule that might not allow them to actually be that good.
Well, that's part of the challenge is I think that the Big 12 in general is just filled with wild cards. I think their quarterback's got a chance to be special this year. Like, I really believe that. He needs structure, but I also think that his playmaking ability cannot be overstated. It is legit. He is big time in that area, which is great, and that's a great starting point. But if we're advancing just a tiniest bit further, I think you can be a great player, but I also think with his playmaking ability comes risk. I think he could win them too. I think he could lose them too. You know what I mean? Like, I could see him being the ultimate wild card on Utah's team. Because you know they're going to be good on defense. You know they're going to be good on the offensive line. Some questions around the receiver position. But for the most part, like, you know they're going to be solid. But good quarterback play versus bad quarterback play could easily flip the 10-win to 5-win conversation.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. Next in line's Kansas on this list, a team that we just kind of talked about a little bit. But he starts his paragraph about Kansas with Jalen Daniels finally healthy. But can we say that for the entire season? I mean, we haven't seen that in a while. So yeah,
No.
maybe healthy now, but I don't think that means, oh yeah, you're going to get him for 12 games at 100%.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the point with him where how many years in a row now has he missed time?
At least, I want to say 3.
I think it has been 3.
At least 2.
I think it's been 3. Like 2 years ago, we were calling his game and he shut it down right before the Texas game with the back injury.
Yeah, that was the year that he had the Apple Watch video screen at Media Days going in.
Yes. And the year before that, he had already had, some pretty decent sized success at the college level. Now, if he's healthy, this is a guy that I think has won like 80% of his games when he's started at Kansas, of all places. I mean, that's pretty sporty. Would you not agree?
Yeah, for sure.
It is entirely dependent on his health. The problem is he's proven now over the course of the last 3 years he can't stay healthy. Doesn't mean he won't this year. It just up to this point, it's hard for me to take that risk. So much like the previous conversation with Devin Dampier, I can't get on board with Jalen Daniels until I know for sure he can protect himself. He takes unnecessary hits and maybe occasionally tries to do a little too much with some danger that might be imminent. So
you lose a lot of productivity at running back too, and I think that could be something that hurts. And obviously, they need to take a little bit of a step defensively. But I mean, I have confidence.
Well, they got LaShawn Williams, that transfer from Iowa. He's a good back and runs some of that stretch zone stuff.
No, he knows how to run that.
They've run in the past.
Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting to see how the fit goes. But next on the list would be SMU. I don't know where people really are in SMU. Are they thinking they're just going to be back to what they were? Are people thinking, oh, no, that was a one-trick pony, no pun intended, and they're going to go backwards? I haven't heard a lot of buzz, good or bad, for SMU, to be perfectly honest with you.
There's too many question marks around them this year. I think that the advancement of their quarterback, I really like SMU. I will always like SMU as long as Rhett Lashley's there. I think he's a great coach. I think he does a great job. I think their quarterback's got a lot of room to grow, which is a good thing. That means that's a positive because he did a lot of good things last year, but from a fundamentals standpoint, he's got to be better fundamentally. Like, he occasionally will drop and throw from 11 yards deep in the pocket. Like, that's just too hard on the tackles. You can't do that on a regular basis. And last year, I think they had a couple games like the Duke game where they won games and turned it over. I don't see that happening again this year. I think the Baylor game's a tough game in the non-con. I think at TCU's a tough game in the non-con. And I look at their schedule. They have Miami, Louisville, and Clemson on their schedule this year. They didn't have that last year. So with all due respect to where SMU's going, I think they're far more likely to lose 6 than they are to go, 12-0.
So that's Kansas. There are a couple more on the list that we'll get to next hour. And go ahead.
That was SMU.
Yeah, Kansas and SMU. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Indiana, Southern Cal, Oklahoma, Auburn left on the list. And then who would we add to this list of teams that we think could be way up, could be way down heading into this college football season? It almost feels like the vast majority of teams in some form or fashion fit into this category that we're discussing today. Not a lot of known commodities really on the positive end, but we'll discuss all those next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We are in July. We made it. Do you guys have plans for the 4th, Greg? Like actual plans to go and see a firework show, display, something?
No. I mean, it's hard at this age with a 1-year-old, 3-year-old, 6-year-old to go and see the fireworks. Like if we went, because we're driving back on Saturday, just to kind of give us a day to regroup. If we stayed up late enough to watch the fireworks, here it gets dark at like 9:45. It's ridiculous. I don't think that would end well for us on the drive home on Saturday afternoon. Fair. So I think we will probably try to keep the 6-year-old up so he can experience it for the first time. But here's hoping that May, our daughter, and JG, our son at 3, hoping that they'll be asleep by that point.
I do feel like the fireworks shows now are starting later. I don't. When I was a kid, I don't remember what time they started because we were probably staying out all night anyway. But I don't know if it was ever structured around a time for me before I had children. But I mean, these things are starting at like the one at the Jubilee Fest in Decatur when they do the hot air balloons. The thing starts at 9:00.
Yeah.
Do you guys not want kids to go? Just say
it's
it.
Too much.
Just say this is not a kid-friendly fireworks show. And, okay, cool. We'll go find a different one.
West Coast kicks start before that.
I mean,
that's asking a lot.
All right. I mean, it's nice and all, but it's just like, man, it's late. So I don't know. We've kind of been in that similar conundrum of, yeah, we'd like to go do some of these things, but when it starts that late, and of course it does have to get dark, so I get that part of it, and you want to wait till the sun goes down, but yeah, it's tough. We don't really have any specific plans. A couple things potentially in play, but I know a lot of people 4th of July. It's very specific. They have the same routine, same regimen every year, every weekend. They get excited about going to do a certain thing, and we just hadn't really had that this year. So I wasn't curious with you guys first time to Savannah if you kind of had it all planned out.
I'm a big fan of 4th of July. It's one of my favorite holidays. I feel like it's purely gluttonous, like 100 hot dogs. I'm going to give Joey Chestnut a run for his money. So I feel like it's a little over the top for my vantage point, like everything I do in high levels of consumption on that day. But what I don't feel like I've enjoyed in 15 to 20 years is a good fireworks show. And it's nothing against the fireworks shows I've seen. I just don't feel like that's ever been. By the time I get to the fireworks, I'm so exhausted, whether we've been poolside, lakeside, playing beanbags in the backyard with buddies. Like, I feel like by the time I get to night, I'm exhausted and want to go to sleep. So I usually go to bed at like 9:30 at night, and I'm often awoken by fireworks. I also feel like fireworks have become more synonymous with other events that I guess I just never really realized. Now, I've spent New Year's Eve in New Orleans. I don't even want to know how many times in the last 10 years. It's been a lot. And every single time, there's always a fireworks show at midnight in New Orleans, so you have to be asleep if you're working the next day prior to the fireworks show getting started. And oftentimes I have not been. So I feel like that's something I've also noticed. Maybe I'm not as eager to go to the fireworks show because I've seen fireworks 14 other times this past year. Do you feel like that's reasonable?
I didn't know there was a midnight fireworks show in New Orleans. John, have you been to that?
That feels familiar, but I'm not going to lie. I would have.
It's a good one.
Not have guessed it.
It's a good one. It's loud now.
I don't feel like I've seen
really good.
I don't feel like I've seen a ton of them, but I did get. I was pretty lucky, and I remember this happening the last time that I was there, the previous season. And I don't know if this is just like in the spring they do it every Friday night or every Saturday night, whatever night I was there. What day was the first Stallions game? Was that a Sunday or Saturday? Do we remember? I think it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
So Saturday night, this little harbor that we stay in down there when we go to those games, our hotel is right there on the water next to like the whole setup, whatever it is. And they do a fireworks show there. And it wasn't that it was like this amazing fireworks or whatever, but I promise you this thing lasted like 40 minutes. I mean, it was just nonstop. And the grand finale, I felt like was like 5 minutes of itself. So it was a great fireworks show. But I was like, man, it'd be cool if like the kids saw this, but I'm good. I don't know if I've seen any others, to be honest with you. So
Yeah, but I feel like there's been so many. What I'm saying is, I feel like fireworks was exclusive to 4th of July, and now you have them at Stallions games, you have them at baseball games, you have them. And by the way, I'm not mad at it. I think fireworks are terrific. I think they're super fun. You can buy them anywhere on the drive to the lake. I can buy fireworks 17 times.
Not anywhere, but definitely need to get to a different county. But,
Yeah,
because we drove to Auburn on Friday. It was one of the things that we did with the 5-year-old while the kids were at camp. We just drove down to Auburn for the day, and thanks to Butch Thompson and the guys for letting him come run on the baseball field. But I was like, Kat, do we need to load up on fireworks? Like, because we can't just go down the street and get these when we get home. Do we need to pull over at the trailer now and go ahead and get all the black cats?
yeah. You gotta have
and the
black
moon
cat.
poppers, whatever the hell they are.
Yep, the old poppers.
So yeah,
Big popper guy.
I guess. I mean, I haven't. And now that's the other thing too. I mean, the last time that I went on my own, number one, making a decision on what to get is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Number two, the amount that this is anything else in our culture this day and age, you can spend an absorbent amount of money on fireworks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's some of these packs for like $12.99 for 6,072 rockets. I'm just like, how long does that go?
And don't let the buy one get two free fool you. No. It's
You're
still
still paying for it. It's coming out. But yeah, I mean, I remember when Roman candles were the expletive when I was coming up.
Yeah.
We had the square box that was like 25 little rockets.
Oh
that
yeah.
went up. And that was like, back to back. This thing goes for like 7 straight seconds. I mean, you can literally get an atom bomb for your backyard now if you would prefer.
So what do you feel has lost its luster more so over time? Fireworks shows like this or the dunk contest? 'Cause I feel like basically
fireworks shows have not lost their luster at all. They're just not the number one priority of 4th of July for me anymore.
But no, Greg is right though. There's a lot of minor league teams. It's every Friday night now, not just 4th of July. It's like every Friday night fireworks show. At our old house,
when you were growing up, Cole, was that not the only time you ever got fireworks ever? Was on 4th of July,
right?
Like, that was
New
the
Year's
only time
Eve.
I
New
ever
Year's
did.
Eve.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, you got them.
Oh, see, like we never got them on New Year's Eve. Like we got them on 4th of July, and that was it.
There weren't many other times. I mean, the house that we previously lived at, you kind of had a view side of Vulcan, and there would be certain nights where these fireworks would just be going and going and going, and find out it's a wedding up at the club.
Oh wow!
But I'm talking like a legit fireworks show. I'm not talking like us going down to Big Mama's fireworks trailer. I'm talking like the one that you would get at, Regions on Friday night, and it's like that's a wedding. Somebody's okay.
Just cause?
Right.
time.
That's the move now.
No, and then there are some that you just hear around on random Friday or Saturday nights. And it's like, is that Sanford? Is there a spring game somewhere I don't know about? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So I'm with Greg. It has gotten very commonplace, but I'm also with Greg. I'm not against it at any time.
Not at all.
It's just I think we used to go a little more crazy about fireworks because we got them maybe twice a year. So
yeah.
and now
I
it's
love
like
it. I'm all about it. I think fireworks are fantastic. If I'm tired at 10 o'clock and the fireworks show is at 10, I'm just going to go to sleep. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, man, I can't wait for fireworks tonight. It used to be like that. It used to be like, oh, whatever it takes, boys, we're going to watch fireworks here. Get loading up the car. Let's go watch it. Like, hey, pace yourself today. We're going to watch fireworks, and that's number one priority. And it hasn't been that in a while, and it's kind of sad. I'm hoping the kids will bring us back to that, though. I really think they will. We're just not at the age yet where we can fully take advantage.
Maybe you need to play baseball and like under the lights of the fireworks like they did in the Sandlot, because that just made them fall in love. Just look up and you watch all the fireworks bursting and crackling in the air.
John, we play baseball under black lights now and like have neon games. We don't need fireworks for that.
Yeah, exactly. Like
maybe
honestly, baseball now is the equivalent of going to play laser tag back in the day. Like one team's the highlighter green, the other team's highlighter red, and we can just play with lightsabers. Like that's where we're at now.
Well, maybe that's the problem.
What happened to the game I love?
We don't need no fireworks.
I mean, think about it now. When you go to or you watch a Major League Baseball game and O'Neal Cruz hits a home run, you get half a fireworks show right there.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about a bottom of the third
Just
1-1 game
solo home run.
in June. And it's like ba 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 everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay. Like that must have been a bomb. Like legitimately. So yeah, it's a lot. Damien, where are you on fireworks? Big? Into it? Like it? No?
Yeah,
Out?
I'm at y'all's point in life now. It's just kind of, not really opposed to it. Don't really have the same excitement as I did when I was a little bit younger. Now in 4th of July, like my trial run on the grill was this past Memorial Day back at home. So like now I'm looking to get on the grill. I'm in full unk status now. And now my dad, he just like, hey dog, this is what I bought. You got there and you worked the grill for me. I was like, I got you. Memorial Day was my test run, so I'm looking forward to the actual cooking portion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big rite of passage.
You ain't lying. It was a test,
I'm proud
man.
of you.
Appreciate it, dog.
Yeah.
So
It's a
what,
big deal.
What are we gonna do on the like?
He hadn't given me the menu yet. I'm just going in like the game. It's a game time decision.
You're
like,
just preparing.
Yeah. No. I'm the one that's cooking everything.
That's what I mean. You're preparing.
Yeah.
But you're not. I mean, I
He's
know.
not Parcells.
Bill
Yeah, he's not
Parcells always
Parcells,
said, like, let me shop for the groceries if I'm cooking the dinner. So you're just gonna be handed. You're just gonna be handed ingredients and say, "Good luck, kid."
Pretty much.
So
Have at it.
You're doing chopped. Like you're just gonna get some random.
Hey,
I gotta cut a veal. Okay, here we go.
He got the big bank. He got the big bucks. I'm just there to prepare. I'm like Gordon Ramsay.
It depends on what he's asking you to make. He comes in there asking for, some kind of lasagna or something. You might be in trouble.
Plop down a thing of pizza dough. All right, son.
Have at it.
I'm telling you, man.
Cauliflower
it's a big
pizza.
step.
We're staying healthy this year.
That
No
was the
more
first-
gluten.
I will say Memorial Day was the first amount of pressure I felt on a holiday. I was like, man, like you really? He's like,
You are
these
10.
the tongues.
I was about to say, you're about
First
to
amount
learn.
of pressure
I'm
I
like,
felt
okay.
on a
Yeah, I'm about to say,
holiday.
get ready.
Holiday, man. I was like,
Hey, get ready because I'm telling you, like the older you get, the more people seemingly come to your house. The more
Right.
likely you are to feel the heat every single time you get on the grill. Because in the event, I don't know how your friends are, Damien, in the event in which you screw something up on a holiday, not only will you hear it from your significant other, that's to be expected. I can live with that. But your boys will absolutely obliterate you. We tried to do a shrimp boil one Memorial Day weekend, and we just did not have enough time. Like, God's honest truth, we just got behind it, and we just didn't have enough time. I tried to season it as best I possibly could. I had one of those boilers, like a nice one, like these things were sweet, had it ready to rock. Just did not give it enough time to season properly. And it was the blandest shrimp boil of all time, to the point where we ran out of a bottle. We were honestly out of a bottle of Louisiana hot sauce, Crystals, because that's the only thing that made it edible. I still hear about that meal, and it was 7 years ago. So I'm just telling you, you better not screw it up this week.
got you, man.
Because you're going to hear about it.
But there are things you should know better than to try. It's like I just feel like you don't try to something that is very indigenous to a certain spot area. Like you don't go try to make that. I mean, you kind of I'll have gumbo when the people of Louisiana are making the gumbo. Like I'm not going to try to make tonight I'm making gumbo. Like no, it's not going to be good.
I don't even try to make gumbo.
Yeah.
Do you know how easy?
No.
Do you know how easy? Seriously, do you know how
Here we
easy a
go.
shrimp boil is? You know how hard it is to screw up a shrimp
No,
boil?
I don't even know what's in it.
Well,
I don't know what you do.
I don't know, man. I'm not risking it.
And if it's
I'm about
so
to
easy,
say,
how'd you screw
just
it up?
Give it time to season. That's all I'm saying. All right, like you don't want it to be bland. Give it time to season. Like what? And then if you absolutely need to sneak a little Tony Chicheries on there at the end, right before you serve it, do that, and you can fool them.
Tony
But I didn't do that.
Sasheries?
What?
So yeah, whatever. Chicheries, Shasheries, whatever.
hold
You know
on,
what I'm
it's-
talking about.
Did Cole just point that out?
Yes,
Did you
I
know
did.
what I was talking about?
Hold on
or
a
no?
second. I did games on CSS in the Sun Belt for years. Okay, that was our only sponsor. Thank you very much,
No, it was the fact that
Tony Sasheries. One love. That's exactly how Joe Block would do it.
yes,
And I don't think he
right.
was asked to do it that way, but he did. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Tony Sashery's One Love. And I was like, is that in the script? He goes, no, I just threw it in there. It sounded good.
Hey,
I'm like, okay.
and it stuck with
It
you.
was
Felt
good.
right.
That was great. No, it stuck with me
Definitely
because I
felt right.
literally probably did 38 Sunbelt games, and that was the only sponsor on all 38 of them. That was it. That's all we had. Nobody else was in there. I think we lost them last
Nobody.
year, maybe. But yeah, I knew about Tony Sashery's early. I know what that is.
No, I know.
Tony
I know you know
Shashery,
what it
whatever.
is. You've just
The
typically the
pronunciation.
one that gets called out for pronunciation, and
Dane,
All right,
I have a very important question for you on you're essentially manning the grill this weekend, right? Have you consulted with a certain employee here at the station?
Oh no, I hadn't.
What?
I haven't.
He
I know.
Right.
He's the grill master.
Okay, is this
feel-
bad that I don't know who you're talking about?
yeah, it's Landrum.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
actually, I
but
think.
Haney is also
Oh yeah, no, but he actually can grill.
well,
Sure.
but Haney is big time. Like
True.
he takes it serious.
But I think, I think
Landrum?
like you said, grill master. I think he probably referenced himself as meat master. But
That's
you haven't even asked like
No, I hadn't.
for some advice.
No.
What about the electric smoker? You asking to borrow that?
No, I have not.
see, I feel like
See, I'm an
yeah,
old school
Landry's
char-
more
we got-
smoke master.
Yeah, we got the old school charcoal.
The
grill,
smoke
man.
sultan.
We're going
Get it
electric
down.
smoker now.
It's fancy.
I'm just saying. Like
Here's your boy.
You just say you're putting in an electric smoker.
that's Landrum's go-to. He has said that on these airways before.
He tackled
He
Meat
admitted
Mountain.
that to people.
He tackled Meat Mountain. Yeah.
That's he says that's how it needs to be done.
Okay.
I love Landrum. I'm sure his food that he cooks in his electric smoker is delicious. But doesn't that ruin the whole? Isn't that like counterintuitive to the whole smoking process? Like I'm just asking the question here. I've always been of the belief that smoking should come from wood and or charcoal.
Tell that to everybody that vapes.
Yeah, man.
Preferably wood. Yeah, I mean, sucking on a battery is not smoking.
Huh?
Like that to me is different. Like, I don't vape cigars. All right, like I'd like to, not often. All right, just saying. I feel like smoking should come from wood, and as a pellet grill master myself, I know that's soft. I get it. Oh, green egg. I get it. I understand.
Pellet
Green egg's
Puritan.
better than
Okay.
pellet.
Okay.
Green egg is better than pellet, or any of those Komodo Joes. Any of those, I'm not endorsing one over the other. They're all great. I think the pellet grill is like one of the greatest technological advancements in the history of mankind. It makes smoking so easy and so simple that it's almost foolproof. You have to go out of your way to screw it up. So I am a pellet guy. Cole, what are you smoking with?
Matches?
Outside of your vape.
Yeah, I've never attempted to smoke food in my life. I have a cue cart in which you use charcoal to start it, and we will throw steaks, hot dogs, burgers, kebabs on that, and that is about the extent of my cooking prowess. That's it.
No ribs.
I have not tried ribs. No, father-in-law can do ribs. Does a great job with them. I'm not. That feels like a lot to me. Feels a lot
can do
easier to
ribs in
screw
the
up than
oven.
it does to get right. So no.
So you can do ribs in the oven. It's a little frowned upon by the traditionalist, but it can be done. I used to do it in the apartment all the time. You can do it, but it is definitely more flavorful.
Here's the
On
thing.
the grill.
I feel like.
You mean you're an offensive lineman and you can't
genre,
smoke meat? What are we doing? What are we doing? You are a city kid. You are not an offensive lineman. You are a city kid now. If you've never actually smoked meat. Really? I'm shocked by this. I thought you competed in the chili cook-off and stuff.
He may have
back in the
judged.
day.
I mean, it
Yeah,
feels
I was
like
like, oh,
he's more of a judge.
no.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever heard
He's
that.
more of a
Also never attempted to make chili.
Oh my gosh.
Listen,
Who would've thought?
the
Who
food
would've
people
thought?
out there, the people that prepare food are not to be messed with.
Absolutely.
So I will never claim to be good at any of that or an expert at any of that or even head down that path, because the people that do that, they will point out your flaws in a hurry. And you don't
Yeah.
try to play that game with them. You
No.
You're on the other courts.
You don't enter their
They're on
arena.
center court. You stay
Yeah.
on the perimeter courts over there with no
Yeah.
fans watching, and you do your thing over there. That's where
So
I'll be.
basically, what you're doing, Cole, is in the eyes of the John Q smoking public. Okay, you are basically a pickleball player that is attempting to qualify at Wimbledon, just keeping it timely with Wimbledon going on right now. Like that's what you're trying to do, is what you're telling me.
Sure.
Does anyone else feel like Cole should lose his offensive line status having never smoked meat? I feel like he might. This might
Again,
be
there's an
worthy
expertise
of
that
losing
comes
a
with
Joe
it that
Moore.
I don't have. So I'm not going to try to pretend to be something that I'm not. And these people get mad when you try to do that, man.
Yeah.
But should you potentially lose your vote in the Joe Moore Award for not being a person that is capable of smoking meat?
No, because
That's a
I
poll
can
question, Damian. I think
Put
that
it up
feels
there.
like a poll question.
also add to poll question though, and this would be my rebuttal to that. This would be my comeback. I can and on a regular basis do grill Kaneka sausage.
Atta boy.
So therefore, I feel like I'm in.
Now you're cut up. Now you're good. Now you know what? Now you
What
know
else do you need?
Your conscience should be clear now. I mean, goodness gracious.
And
My
is
3-year-old can cook sausage on the grill.
great.
So he's got a leg up. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That's it. I'm just saying I'm disappointed. I'm not saying that it's like this is not a difficult skill. We might need to have a smoking class.
No.
Let's get him one of those road pellet grills for Father's Day.
I will also say this. I don't have 17 hours to sit around and let a brisket sit in a smoker and
that's
tend
the
to
whole
it
point.
and poke it and roll it and massage it.
Check that internal
and
temp.
put butter on it. And then the sauce goes here. And at hour 8, you got to go out there and fluff it and the whole deal. I don't have time for that. I don't.
I mean, dude, you play in the backyard as much as anybody I know. This would be the easiest thing you've ever done. It is so easy to do ribs. It's literally 6 hours. It requires a little bit of maintenance.
I've played my
after hour
5-year-old in
3.
tic-tac-toe. It's not the easiest thing I've ever done.
To be fair, it is conducive to your film watching lifestyle.
It is
isn't.
literally
I have to leave
this
the
is
film to
like
go do
smoke-
the
No, you have
things.
the have the iPad off to the
I'm
side
sitting outside sweating my ass off watching film? Why would I do that?
if need be.
No.
It's the grind.
This
The
is
inside
literally
view.
the easiest thing. It is not difficult, and it would align with your lifestyle so much more than you know.
You say it's not difficult, yet every person that you talk to about it that does it makes it sound beyond difficult.
Yeah,
like
they
you
want to
can't
feel.
have the Traeger, you got to have this one. You can't have the fake balsa wood, you got to have the real wood.
Yeah, they got to feel important.
No, the Traeger.
Don't
the
use
Traeger's
lighter
viewed
fluid.
the Traeger's viewed as weak by the smoking public. However, I will lean into the pellet grill. It's easier. I'm not trying to make my life more difficult at this stage. With a 6'3" and 1-year-old, my life's hard enough. All right, I absolutely don't need the getting the temperature exactly right on the green egg or the Komodo or whatever it is. I don't need the thermometers. I don't need the alarms going off. I just need to know that I can set it and forget it. And in 6 hours or 12 hours if we're doing a butt, or in 8 hours I have to go out there a couple times, spray it with a spray bottle of apple cider vinegar. It takes literally 10 minutes. I mean, it's just not hard. And I feel like you, of all people, being the carnivore that you are, and let's be real, let's call Cole what he is. He's a foodie. He likes food, and he likes an exorbitant amount of food. The man has eaten a donut burger on television. All right? So we're going to
He'll never
sit here
forget
and
that.
say,
So it's like it's a bad thing.
Right? Yeah. I mean, who
Like,
wouldn't? You
right.
can get that in mugshots right now.
I just think this needs to be. I think this is something we need to do before the season starts. We need to get together, throw some meat on the grill, and call it a day. Like, this will not be difficult. And I'm
Grill,
talking on
yeah.
the smoker.
Smoker, no.
Smoker.
I can go cook
Smoker.
steaks and hot dogs right now, and they'll come out great. And it'll take less than 30 minutes. All right. I want to go a little bit further with your foodie comment as well on the other side. First, tell our listeners about Polar Bear Services.
Well, Polar Bear Service can do everything for you. If your smoker's broken, they can probably fix it. They can do so many things. I mean, if something goes wrong at my house, the first call I make is to Weston and the guys at Polar Bear Services. They've come out, they've taken care of small appliances, they've taken care of my plumbing, they've helped me out with some electrical challenges, and now is a great time to get them out, to get out in front of the hot summer days that are continuing to pour down on us in central Alabama. The last thing I want is my air conditioner going on the fritz. If it goes down, we got problems. Major problems. That's why I've had Polar Bear Services come out to service my home last month to make sure that it's up and running smoothly throughout the summer months. It also will make sure that things are good to go come winter time when things start to cool off a little bit as well. So remember, if you have a problem with your electrical, plumbing, heat, or air, just pick up the phone and call the Bear. It's 205-497-BEAR. It's 497-BEAR.
All right, when we come back, what is a foodie next, Mac and Cube in the morning? All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It's 8:29, Tuesday, July 1st. Jox 94.5. You can watch live on YouTube every day. Search WJOX 945. Check out the show on TV, which was, I had dinner actually with a friend of mine last night that listens to the show every day, and he was telling me about his son. And his son has actually met Greg also. And he's like, it was just funny because I told my son that, like, hey, you know, Greg played quarterback at Alabama. And it's just like, didn't resonate at all. And he's like, well, he won a national championship. And he's like, just nothing. And he said he'll listen to the show. And he's like, that's, you know, that's Mr. Cole. Like, you hear him in just zero. And he said then one of the first days you guys were on YouTube, when we were getting ready to go get out for work, getting ready for school and everything, I put the show on YouTube, and he's like, kid loses his mind. Just flips out. He's like, Mr. Cole's on YouTube? He's like, you're it. That was it. You were done. Like, you had made it then. He was like, played at Auburn, national championship winning quarterback at Alabama, played in the NFL, nothing. Zero. Don't care. On the radio? Nah. Calling games on TV, SEC Network? Nope. On YouTube? Star. Made it. Real deal. I was just like,
Made
okay.
it.
We're reaching the masses, man.
To each their own. Some people, that's what they want. Everybody knows, though, that when you're looking for quality jewelry, Greg, you go to Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's is great. It's where I've been going for a long time. I think you'll understand exactly why the second you walk in the door and you visit with their incredible sales staff and you see the incredible selection. I mean, just high-end, luxurious items that will live in your family for multiple generations. I promise you, you're going to absolutely love what you buy. And now it's wedding season too. So highly recommend you going and checking out some of the options that they have for some of the weddings that are coming up throughout the summer months. It's a beautiful, beautiful store, and the experience is absolutely second to none. So go and check out Bromberg's in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit. You can also look at their incredible selection of jewelry online at brombergs.com.
All right, so Foodie is described via Google's AI. Person with a strong interest in food, often seeking out new and diverse culinary experiences, and may also be interested in the preparation and presentation of food. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like I fall into that category. Avid
Feels
interest
like you.
in the latest food fads. That's not me. Specifically, the diversification part of it. I order the same thing everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Exact opposite.
When we
of
went to
Foodie.
dinner for my wife's birthday at Soho Standard last night, burger every time. That's all I want, because I don't get burgers a lot of other places, and I want it there, so that's it. According to Foodie.com, Foodie is the destination for living a delicious life.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I guess. Person who has an ardent or refined interest in food and who eats food not only out of hunger, but also as a hobby. Now that may be a little
Okay,
closer.
all
to
right,
the truth.
yeah.
Sounds
I
like a
feel like
problem.
I feel like that's one box that's absolutely checked.
Yeah,
All right,
That's
go
the
on.
byline of the Joe Moore Award right there.
Definitely have been some times when just ate for fun. Yeah, that's a real thing. So
You said sometimes?
why do you feel like I should be described as a foodie per se?
You know.
Just because I
you
like food? Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm not
everybody
out there
does.
trying to find gourmet mac and cheese. Oh, there's a new dessert at so and so. We gotta go try that. I mean, just because I've had Cookie Fix, I don't think makes me a foodie.
Yeah, Foodie would have had crumble.
I mean, you like food. I feel like you like food. You like good food. I've seen you eat multiple items on television.
Foodie has a very hipster, a little bit nerdy aspect to it in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It is.
I feel like you check that box.
A foodie is a nerd with better PR.
I don't feel like I have ever traveled specifically for food.
Seems like a lot.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you don't.
And I
leave
also don't
Homewood.
feel like wherever I go, when I am on the road, I seek out some new adventurous food item.
No.
Nope, same old
Okay.
tacos.
We're in D.C. We got to go to get a crab special.
With
Whatever
San
it is.
Antonio, give them that taco, breakfast taco place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that
last
one's-
time I
it's
checked, I'm
essentially
pretty
dangerous
sure
to
you
get
went
over
to the
there, so.
breakfast taco place in San Antonio.
Although that makes him a foodie if he's willing to risk danger.
Correct.
Maybe. I mean, it's Fuego
I've-
in College Station every time. We go to the Republic for dinner and Fuego for lunch.
Okay,
I don't
two
branch
foodie-
out.
Two foodie places.
Two food,
Two
a
foodie.
steakhouse. Foodie place.
Yeah, big foodie.
The
Oh,
way they-
do you have steak au poivre? Yeah, you absolutely are foodie. 100%.
don't even know what that is.
Can you do a peppercorn crust?
Don't even
Yes.
know how that
Disgusting.
works. But yeah,
Is foodie the one thing that we've nerdified that doesn't feel like a nerd thing?
All right. We got to eat to survive.
But if you're like a Disney nerd, all right, people can kind of look down on that. If you're a comic book nerd, all right, people kind of look down on
a
that.
foodie.
The
Well,
analytic
I will
nerds,
admit,
people look down on
if I
that.
if I may for a moment, I will admit, I do occasionally have a problem with people that order their food, and we're at dinner, and I have several friends like this. And it's not like troubling to me because I understand the culture that we live in. It's social media culture. Everything's a highlight reel. Your life is a highlight reel. But I have friends that will stop everyone. And I'm sitting thinking they're going to bless the food, to which I'm completely okay with. Would love to, say a quick prayer, bless the food, bless the opportunity for fellowship before we all dive in. I'm great with that. But when they stop down dinner, as soon as the courses are served, and take the opportunity to stand up and take pictures of every single entree, that kind of is bothersome to me. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not my thing. I would consider myself to be a foodie, but I don't need to document the presentation of the food that I've just been served. Anyone else deal with this on a regular basis?
Who has tried to attempt to take photographs of everyone's meal at a dinner? When did that happen? That happens regularly?
On previous crews that I've been on in college football, yes, that has happened regularly.
Okay. All right. A couple folks are chiming in.
Joe Test like that. Wow.
Love Joe Test, but he's absolutely one that's going to take a picture of the entree. No doubt about it. 100%. His wife, though, is a chef. His daughter is a chef, so I can understand his reason.
That's different.
That's allowed.
That's circumstantial.
Yes, it's. I think he's just helping the family business. I'm good with that. Like I can live with that. I understand that. But when it's, when we're sitting there at, Little Dewey's or whatever in Starkville, and we're taking pictures of chicken nuggets, like, what are we doing? Come on. It's like, all right,
my kids would love it.
Oh.
5-year-olds can be foodies too. All right, a couple folks chiming in. Greg Skipworth tweets in, at this stage of my life, cooking is about convenience. That's it. Cooking chili tonight, easy.
Here we go.
Tommy Wyndham tweets in.
Chili in the summer is bold strategy. I like that play, though. Chili, I think, as a Texan, year-round. Totally okay. But it's more of a winter, cold weather food for me. Y'all?
Yeah, I mean,
I associate it more in the cold.
100%. Yeah. But I will say personally, there's a lunch spot that I have kind of leaned to the last couple of Sundays after church because they have this grilled cheese and tomato soup that I want, and it's like it's 99 outside, but I want this tomato soup with this grilled cheese, and it, by the way, is a brisket grilled cheese. I don't know how long they smoked the brisket for, and if they use pellets or firewood or oak or logs.
What kind of cheese? Is it Gruyere?
It's just a grilled cheese with
brisket
barbecue on it, man. That's all I got. Tommy Wyndham tweets in, Cole gets a pass because he cooks Kaneka. And Rod tweets in, who the hell has all day to smoke something? These smoker people are worse than runners.
Worse than what?
Runners. But you smoke and run.
I was like, you're both.
So,
yeah.
There you go. Greg also tweets in, stir fry on the Blackstone, delicious and easy. So,
yes. Accurate.
All right, Royal Payne, what is Greg smoking? The pecan wood smokes and burns in an electric smoker. It's just the method of heat. I dump the pellet grill for a vertical electric smoker that burns wood. It's not some Elon rocket plasma substance. This is me talking offensive line to our listeners right here.
Pretty much, yeah.
That tweet is, I felt like that was someone listening to me describe why slide protection's terrible. Driving around their car.
Here's my thing.
I have no idea what was just said there. I don't know what he's talking about. That was literally German to me right there.
Yes. Where I'm smoking, I don't have easy access to an outlet. Like, I want to go smoke on the lakeside or, somewhere that is almost off. Now, I'm not saying, like, we've already gone through our camping diatribe, all right? I'm not camping. But I don't want smoking to, like, be right there in the kitchen. And or within close proximity to the kitchen. Like, I kind of want it to be off just a little bit so I have a little me space, a little space where it's a little safe space where it's just me and the grill. And that's all I need. But I understand if you have access to an outlet and if you want to plug something in and get some pecan wood going, I get it. I'm fine with that. I'm surprised that Landrum is team electric smoker. That's all I said. I have nothing wrong with electric smokers. I just thought he'd do it the old-fashioned way.
Okay. I think we may need to get Landrum in here in the last hour of the show. Just let him, let Greg and Landrum have a little bit of a back and forth. Pete Moss brings a different thought into this. He tweets in, at Mac and Cube, Cole's a smart man. Why take on the stress? If you become a, quote, smoke master, you'll have a job every summer holiday.
It's true.
Yeah.
Same logic my son uses why he doesn't buy a pickup truck. Buy a pickup one day, the next weekend you're helping your buddy build a back deck. I kind of disagree on that one.
Seems like a lot.
No, that is, I don't know if I can necessarily connect point A to point B there, but I get the point. I also get the point that if you're looking for a pickup truck, Bill Smith Buick GMC is exactly where you need to go. Take the short drive up to Coleman, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's incredible the deals they have on the lot. The best discounts, the best service. They're number one in the Southeast for a reason. They sell more vehicles than anyone in the Southeast. That's because they have the best prices. Like a GMC Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. This is the nicest trim level available on the GMC Sierra. This is a 3/4 ton pickup. It's a beautiful vehicle. Really, really nice. So it can do the heavy duty work as well. If you're trying to build a deck, this can get the job done, and you can live a life of luxury the second you get inside the cabin. $86,790 is the list price. You get it for $71,790. That's $15,000, ladies and gentlemen, off that sticker price. Deals like that keep people come back. That's why 75% of their business is repeat customer. That's because they have a better experience. Take the short drive up to Coleman, I-65 exit 310, Highway 31, or you can shop online, have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
All right, we'll continue talking preparation, food over the weekend, 4th of July. Bama Carney messaging in via Instagram. Colt needs a master-built gravity smoker, as lazy as pellets, but uses real wood.
What?
If you'd have told me a
Best of all worlds.
master-built gravity smoker, well, that would have been really funny, but I'm not going to say it.
You just broke down like 3D protection, basically. That's what they got.
I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's good or bad based on the message that was sent in. But we will get back to our teams that may be closer to 10 wins or 5 wins next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 8:45, Tuesday, July 1st. Jox 94.5. The suit is now chiming in, who I do believe is a certified grill master.
I think he has the card. He has the card. Or a trophy, one. I think he might have a trophy for real.
I don't think you become a grill master just by getting a trophy. Anybody can go cook up a brisket and turn it into the contest.
Mike Gudney can't.
So it's a trinket.
So Haney's chiming in saying, I'll be smoking 6 racks of ribs to Boston Butts, 2 bologna. I said bologna.
You're about to say, is that what it is?
Okay.
I have no idea why I said that.
That's a minus right there.
Well, you can strip my foodie status. A brisket and chickens for the 4th.
Was he going to start
You better
today?
just show up and eat, I guess.
Yeah, he's got to start today.
That's why he's not here today.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
God almighty, man.
Big
like,
weekend.
how do you just buy like an Oscar Mayer bologna from the pack and just throw it on the grill? How do you do
Maybe
that?
you could do the loaf, I guess.
The whole thing?
That'd be hilarious if you just bought a pack of like square Oscar Mayer bologna and just throw it on there.
I think it's round.
That would be aggressive. Just cook it like a hot dog, just like roll it
Just
back and
throw it
forth.
on there.
That'd be
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. Sounds like it works for me. I'm good
He
with
said
that.
a lot of cooking Thursday and Friday, Damien. So yeah.
Okay. Hey,
Get the spit and doing it on like the old school campfire.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like that's necessarily one that I have to. Well, here we go. Now people are tweeting in like the grills that I should buy.
See?
Apparently,
I told you.
Russ is sharing with us Masterbuilt's digital charcoal grill and smoker.
Digital?
Look at you.
Check out the Gravity Series 800 here. What does that thing cost?
Right.
Let me guess. 4,000.
It's insane.
Honestly, it looks like one of R2D2's buddies. $899.
That's insane.
Like when they go to a different place and he's like sees one of his little friends and that's what it looks like right there.
No.
Yeah, I'm good on the $900 grill because once again, if I invested in this, the only thing that would come off of it, steaks, chicken kebabs maybe twice a year, Kaneka, and occasional hot dogs.
Boom.
And I can do that on a $19.99 charcoal grill.
Thank you.
So I'm not going to do the other stuff. This thing's got a remote control.
That's too much.
You can use your phone as the remote on the app. But is it electric?
Kids these days.
Yep.
I mean, it is. If it's got an app, it's got to be electric.
Okay.
Ain't no charcoal needed for no app.
That's insane.
All right, we'll finish the grilling conversation next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 8:52 Tuesday, July 1st. Talking grilling here on the show. July 4th coming up. Damian asked an important question during the break, and I think John kind of alluded to it as well. Is this an invitation from Haney?
Yeah.
Or is he just bragging? Is this a humble brag that he's going to have all this meat that he's grilling? Or is he saying you guys should come have some?
I mean, it is called.
That's not what I'm hearing.
It is called Hotel Haney for a reason.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Because I might show up with 3 kids.
Like I don't all the meat. I mean, all the food he's cooking. I hate for it to go to waste, but if I can help, like
we would
I got you, bro.
like to help put a dent in that for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be happy
I'll even
to.
bring extra Connect and just you can throw it on there.
Ooh, now you're talking.
He is the grill man. I mean, it would
Right.
be rude for anyone else but him to do it.
So Ryan, respond via text. Is that for the air or not? What you just texted me because I don't know. I'm supposed to read that loud. All right, Golden Domer wants to talk grilling. Welcome into the show, Domer.
Top of the morning.
Good morning. Do you have a Gravity Series 800 digital charcoal grill smoker from Masterbuilt?
This is what I was going to tell you, okay? There's 2 kind of grillers in the world. There's real grillers and there's posers. If you push a button to start a grill, you're not a griller. If you ain't got real fire in your grill, you're not a griller. If you got an app controlling your little Traeger grill, you're not a griller. A real griller is charcoal and fire and flames. You can't go inside and monitor it on your little app.
Don't some people have though like the little push button
Heat it.
start to ignite the fire or whatever?
I'm going to say this one more time. If you don't have a flame starting your grill, you are not a grill.
I've seen people that have a grill and they push the button and it the fire starts.
Are you telling me that Hank Hill, who
outdoor
does propane and propane accessories, is not a griller?
Not griller. Look,
Wow.
gas grillers. Look, let me tell you something. When you are barbecue grilling, you are barbecuing. You need a chimney, you need charcoal, and you need flames. Anything else, you are outdoor ovening. You are taking your outdoor kitchen and putting it outside to pretend like you are cooking. Okay, if you could do that, if I can take my Traeger grill inside and cook, you're not barbecuing. You are not barbecuing. If you don't have a flame, if there's not a somewhat chance of you catching your sleeve on fire, it is not barbecue grilling. Okay,
So you need to run the risk. Like you need the risk. Like you want there to be just a slight to moderate chance that you burn your house down.
Hey, yeah, you're on track, Greg. Now you got
See,
me. Look,
I'm with
all
you.
trying to
Like
say is-
you and I are kind of on the same page. Now, I think pellet grilling is with a flame. It is very easy, and with 3 kids running around, I need as low risk as possible. But I'm with you. Anything that you plug in, I struggle with. Just acknowledging that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And this is what I'm trying to say too, guys. If you got a barbecue grill, you can go to Lowe's or you can go to wherever you want to get, and you can spend $250, $300 on a grill. If you are spending $900 or $1,000 to cook meat, all you need to cook meat is fire. We've had fire for 3,000 years. If you need an app and you need something to feed it at a certain exact rate, you are not barbecue grilling. You are outdoor ovening. Okay, that's what you're doing. You took your oven outside. That's all you're doing. And so the same kind of people that do this are the same kind of people that buy a kayak, right? A kayak. It's supposed to be paddled. And they put motors and fish finders and 14 rod holders, and they say, I'm going kayaking. You ain't going kayaking. You got a little bass boat.
What about a pedal kayak?
It's a
For a
kayak.
hands-free
Put a pedal in your hand and
experience while
paddle.
you're fishing.
What about vaping?
Look, all right. No, light a fire. Light a fire.
Wait, we've
Sounds
only had
like-
fire for
sounds like-
3,000 years?
He honestly sounds like Butthead right now.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Outdoor ovening.
That's actually true.
That may have been the
He's not
best
wrong.
line he's ever
So
dropped on
Langham's
the
an
show
oven
right there.
master, not a grill master. Oh, okay.
Outdoor ovening.
We continue that conversation next. Bruce Feldman also next hour on Jox 94.5. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We're going to switch gears here for just a moment. Tuesday, July 1st, Jox 94.5. If you are feeling on edge, if you're lacking sleep, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you today. You roll right up there to Game Day Men's Health, or better yet, just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Sign up for the free consultation. You get a free PSA test, free testosterone test, and they'll get a baseline of where your health is. So if you're lacking that sleep or don't have that energy, they can help you. They can also help you lose weight. Multiple weight loss programs that they have now. Also peptides in stock to help you with things like anti-aging, arthritis, even better sleep as well there. So Game Day Men's Health does a lot of different ways that they want to help you. Locker room environment, low stress, not going to try to push you to programs that you don't need, holistic approach to health and wellness. Keep in mind, minimal upfront costs from the programs they offer. Do this. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today and see what they can do for you. All right, so I want to switch gears here because I actually wanted to talk about this last week when the Browns tweeted out video, or I guess it wasn't actual video, CGI of what their new stadium was going to look like. But apparently today is the day that everyone chooses to get mad about it because the Cleveland Browns have released a statement discussing how the state and the government and the House have come together to be able to make this, and it's going to be great, and there's going to be shops and coffee shops around the stadium in Northeast Ohio. But people are mad for two things. One, I guess today they found out there's going to be turf, and they found out it's only going to be indoors, which I don't know how you watched the video last week and didn't know that. I was actually going to ask the question last week, is this a bad idea for Cleveland to have an indoor stadium? To which I would answer yes. That is a massive advantage for you, for your franchise, and for people having to come play you. They obviously don't think it is. Now, Damian brought up a good point in the break of, well, they probably won a Super Bowl. All right. Well, New York got one. That wasn't inside.
No.
How'd that go?
I watched it.
Yeah.
Like 150 million other people
did
too.
It was like one of the lowest
Don't
rated
care.
Super Bowls of all time. And
Who was in that Super Bowl?
That was the Manning
Seattle
and
Denver.
Yeah. It was like the 48-2 or whatever it was.
It was a beatdown.
That might be.
It was also they scored a play on the first play of the game was a safety.
Probably because they were outside.
I remember the heavens unleashed like the next day.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was
I just
brutal.
This just feels wrong. I'm going to be honest with you.
I get it.
I mean, Greg, you played in a place where that was a massive advantage for you guys. Two, technically, but specifically one in New York. And maybe not even having all to do with the temperatures, but the wind and how difficult it is to manage there. And not that you ever become 100% accustomed to it, but you guys knew what it was more so and worked in it more so and practiced in it. So I feel like there was an advantage for the Jets.
It probably is, but at the end of the day, what is the Cleveland Browns' number one motivation? Like, what is their number one motivation in owning and operating the team? And you nailed it right there. Get people in the game. Make money. Have it be a comfortable environment for those in the stands more so than those on the field. And while
but I feel like, Greg, the only reason they've struggled with attendance is because their teams have been the worst in the league. Like they still
have
get
a great
people
fan
there.
Base.
I mean,
yeah, they have a great fan base. They don't struggle there at all. But the reality is, just calling it what it is, most of the money made by these organizations is spent in the luxury suites. Those suites comprise a significant amount of corporate hospitality and significant dollars spent. So all that being said, let's just be real. Those that are, sitting there at the top of the building in a CEO setting, they're not trying to be outside and braving the elements. They've earned a life of comfort and tranquility with the success they've had professionally, and they want comfortable. So if you're going to do whatever you can to do to make sure that those people are comfortable, you will do it. And I think having an indoor environment is more comfortable than having suites with glass over the front of them. It's just me.
I get that. I just feel like we're getting so
I'm not
far
saying
away
it's
from.
right. I think it's kind of soft, but I get why they are doing it. And they won a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Simple as
it's
that.
just like you can't make a case for one without an indoor stadium. I mean, it's football.
a retractable roof would be the play. I just guess I don't know why they wouldn't just have a retractable roof.
None of the teams with retractable roofs ever open them. Mercedes-Benz is never open. Houston's never open. What was the numbers on Houston? That thing hadn't been open since like the Super Bowl halftime show, and that's like it.
Yeah.
Like they don't open them ever. So what's the point of even doing that?
All that's great, but at least you have the option.
I guess.
Like on an unseasonably nice day.
All right,
then
so
you
we
have the option.
So here's my question for you guys. In 20 years, 15 years, so I think 10 might be a little too 10 might be the barometer. We can say 10 or 12 years. In 10 to 12 years, honestly, how many outdoor stadiums are we going to have in the NFL? Because Tennessee's going indoor. Mm-hmm. Now Cleveland's going indoor. Better question might be, who are the teams that we don't think will ever go indoors? Thankfully, Washington's isn't going to be. They're in your stadium that they're going to get.
Green Bay's not.
Green Bay is the team that will never. ever have an indoor stadium.
Yeah, Lambeau's never going
I would love
anywhere.
to tell you that I don't think the Steelers would ever do it. But I could absolutely see something like what Cleveland's getting downtown Pittsburgh.
Absolutely.
Don't want it. Hope not. I mean, I would love to sit here and tell you that Buffalo will never do it. But I saw what they were thinking about doing.
Yeah,
I've seen pictures of it, and it's inside. And honestly, that's probably the one that makes the most sense. But I don't want them to do it. I hope they don't. Who else is never going inside? Because Carolina definitely could.
Answer me this question, though, in an effort to better understand why they're moving in this direction. Carolina will 100% go indoors. Unless, they have a super rich owner. So I would bet their next stadium, which is probably right now the worst in the league.
And I was going to say, they're not far away from getting a new stadium.
No, that's happening. But hear me out. If I were to say more or less likely in the future with the next generation of fans, the kids that are right now 5, 6, 7 years old, when they're 40 in 35 years, do you anticipate them being more hardcore than their parents as far as fandom, or less hardcore than their parents as far as fandom?
That's a laughable question. I'm not even gonna entertain it.
Just so people understand where we're coming from. Why? Answer. Less or more?
Much less.
Significantly less.
Way less. So when you're thinking about building for the next generation, these stadiums usually have about 30 or some odd years on their lifespan. When you're thinking about the next generation, are you going to want to make it comfortable? Are you going to want to make it a 62,000 seat stadium just like the Titans are building that's a little bit more intimate, where you can actually have a great vantage point to the field itself, where you have great food, bev, catering, where you have Wi-Fi access in the stadium, where you have possible ways of creating some type of gamer type atmosphere in the seats where you can gamble play to play? Like, what do you think is going to be more appealing to the 7-year-old child right now in 35 years?
Honestly, it's going to be like Apple goggles or whatever it is. And you feel you're in a seat there, but you're really at home. You pick your seat. You go to Vivid Seats or Ticketmaster, and you pick whatever seat you want to sit in, and you pay $5 to get it on your Google glasses, and you watch it from your couch. That's the future, unfortunately.
It might be the future, but I still think there's a place for people to go and experience the game in real life atmosphere.
Yeah, well, why can't you build more suites in a stadium, and there's your indoor portion for the people that can spend anything, but you still have the outdoor section for real fans?
Because I think that they recognize that in time, those real fans are going to become less and less. I think everybody realizes that. Like, the level of intensity of our fandom in our generation is gone down even from our parents' generation. And I'm talking about for one specific team. I'm not talking about for the sports. The sports remain insanely healthy. Like, I love all sports. Like, I really will watch it all. But I am a diehard sports fan. I am not necessarily a diehard NFL team fan. You know what I mean? And I don't think my kids will be either. I would love for them to care greatly like that. I don't know if they will, but I would love that. I think that the NFL is recognizing we need smaller venues. We need more intimate settings. We need more accommodations that come with coming to watch the game in the stadium. More things that you can only get in the stadium. Because the TV experience has gotten so good. You need things that you can really just touch, feel, see, experience in the stadium. And I think a lot of that is centered around where the world's going.
Comfort, like you said, and I get it, and I understand it. It doesn't mean I have to like it. I mean, so here's my list.
No one said you have to like it.
Tell me if I'm wrong on any of these.
Why?
Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong on any of these. Because I'm pretty sure Denver, Kansas City, San Francisco, Seattle, Carolina, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Chicago, Green Bay, Washington, Philadelphia, New York, New England, Miami, and Buffalo, outdoor stadiums.
Yes.
I would love to tell you that Jacksonville is going to be indoor soon, but they're renovating their current outdoor stadium, so I'd imagine that pushes that further down the road. I'm with Greg. I think Carolina is due a new stadium soon. That'll be indoors when they do it.
Denver's buying up land. They'll have one soon.
They're planning on going indoors?
I don't know. That's
a travesty if they do it.
Yeah. But I think they will,
Mile high inside?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Kansas City's got to get a new stadium soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question is, one, where is it going to be exactly? Because they're fighting over that. And then two, look who owns that team now.
Right.
Yeah.
A bunch of Gen Zers.
Mm-hmm.
They want that thing inside.
And Mahomes at one point.
And I actually have a couple of new teams. Like, listen, I would love to, as a diehard Steelers fan, tell you I don't think they ever go inside. But I could just see that city coming together saying we need to do something that we're going to be able to host a lot of different things. And, by the way, if Pitt is also going to play here too, it would be a lot easier to maintain all this if it was indoors. True. So I won't rule that out. I don't know, Greg, if Cincinnati's ownership will ever put up the money to have a real indoor stadium. But I wouldn't put it past them from a mentality perspective.
They'd probably just buy a tarp from Walmart and just hang it over Paul Brown. Yeah.
But, and I hate admitting this, I have a couple teams, now that I've gone through it, that I don't think will ever go outside of Green Bay. I don't think Seattle will ever go inside.
Nope.
That was my next one. What with the 12th man and
Why?
everything?
Why do you think that?
I just think they welcome it. I think that I don't think the city minds it. Mm-hmm. I think they know they'll get the people in there. And is Safeco not retractable?
No.
The baseball stadium's not retractable?
Oh, the baseball stadium might be. I don't know.
I think it is.
But Qualcomm
so
or whatever
you have
the one is.
you have a retractable stadium right next to it. So I don't feel like you need two indoor stadiums right next to each other for big concerts and whatever.
And I feel like the weather there doesn't get that harsh in the elements.
Right.
I mean,
it's just more rainy and whatnot too on top of it.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Snow,
I just don't think that those people
I don't think so
will ever do it.
Most likely.
And here's another one. And this is, I kind of don't like admitting this. I don't think the Patriots will ever be inside.
No, they don't strike me as a team that would.
Now, these ownerships could go different directions and things could change. I get it, but I just don't think I don't see New England ever playing indoors.
Not under Kraft, but he ain't gonna own it for that much longer.
Just saying, those are the ones that I
think if
see.
you think teams
I'm sorry. One more. And I don't think any of you will argue with this one.
Miami.
The Philadelphia Eagles are never playing inside.
No, they need to be outside. Yeah, they'll feel confined in an indoor stadium.
Yeah,
I think all that sounds good, but I don't know. I don't know if that's 100% true. I mean, you say ever. That's a really long time. I could see every single one of those aforementioned teams at some point having a roof over their stadium, whether that's an indoor stadium or if it's set up similar to SoFi, where it's an indoor-outdoor vibey type of situation. I could absolutely see every single one of those teams having a roof on their stadium. Yeah,
and listen, for everybody tweeting in about what an indoor stadium gets you, I promise you I'm fully aware of that. Like, I'm dumb, but I'm not really dumb. I know what you get with an indoor stadium. I've seen the Final Four in Minneapolis. I get it. I know Garth Brooks will come play there. Whatever the hell. But I think there are also some franchises and owners that still want football to be football and still believe that their stadium should be for football and not a multi-use for everything that we can potentially jam in their facility. So And
publicly funded.
That goes
you
a
need
little
multi-use.
I get that, but they don't all have to be funded by the state. That's why a lot of these owners
How
are
many
billionaires.
owners are shelling out money to build the stadium on their own?
Not on their own, but I think a lot of them are putting up a lot of their own money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot, but not exclusive.
The guy in Dallas not put up the majority of the money for that one?
No, Arlington, the land itself was given to Jerry Jones for free.
But did he not build the stadium?
He built the stadium, but he didn't buy the land.
Well, let's be honest, it's out there in the middle of nowhere. It's not like, and there weren't a lot of other ballparks right next to it then. It wasn't super valuable when he did it.
Okay.
They didn't have Six Flags when he built it, so.
Yeah, they did.
Whatever.
They had Six Flags and the ballpark in Arlington were like right next door. It's not like it was. I mean, it's not like it was like a Choctaw Stadium now. Like it's not like it was. I mean, give you a
Choctaw
break.
Rips. I don't know what you're talking about.
I agree. It was awesome. It was a great ballpark. I was sad when they decided to get rid of it. Like it was
it's
nice.
It's not super nice anymore. It's okay. We don't have to pretend.
It used to be nice. I mean, it really did. It used to be really nice. That was a high-end top 10 ballpark in America as far as niceness. Granted, that was 25 years
this is my
ago.
coming back down to earth moment. I pronounced Bologna earlier. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm trying to come back and be a real human.
It was Foodie. It was Bologna.
Bologna.
Yeah. There was no G. The G was not hard. Thanks.
That's
classy.
I was
tried
an
to
out of body
dance it up a
experience
little
right there. Okay? I was taken over by aliens at that moment, and I don't know what happened. And we're gonna pretend like it never took place. Now I'm trying to come back and be a real man again. I don't like football inside. Sorry. And this is my yelling at the clouds moment. I'm old. I can admit it. I'm old.
I grill
I like
outside.
football
I
outside.
play football outside.
Well, Greg just told you can do ribs in the oven. And then Golden Domer told you that you're ovening outside or whatever the hell. So we're all over the place, even those noises. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know what I need to do or say right now, but I don't like where this is going. When I think Cleveland Browns, I think
Losers.
nasty, that too. I just think late in the year, nasty weather, don't want to go there. Dog pound hanging over the side of the thing, gigantic guy with dog face on, sitting there barking at the cameras, going to commercial break with his big chain and a dog on it. Like that's what I think.
Tough.
And now it's all going to be super comfortable dog pound. But they got better concessions. Sabrina Carpenter can come play there in February. Yay.
Well,
I mean, I
they
don't
get
know,
a Super
man.
Bowl, Cleveland Super Bowl.
And here's the other part of that, Damien. So Damien's right. Like you get a Super Bowl. So you just do all this for one event? Like you change the course of your home field advantage and what your franchise is and kind of stands for one event. And I know it's a big deal. It's a big event. But like, does anybody cheer for the Jets or the Giants more because they had a Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
Is anybody more of a 49ers fan because they had a Super Bowl?
No.
Back with more right after this. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you tuning in. 9:21, Tuesday, July 1st, right here on Jox 94.5. A couple of interesting articles coming up from Bruce Feldman that we want to discuss that he has worked on over the past week. But before we get to Bruce, G-Mac, tell our listeners about, well, I'll tell you about Gusty Ghouls and the Gusty Ghouls Group. If you're trying to get into a new home, Gusty Ghouls Group wants to help you. Why do they know this area better than anybody? They serve more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. You can trust Gusty's aggressive and proven selling system. He's got what it takes to attract hundreds of qualified buyers that are going to want your home. Since 2012, Gusty Ghouls Group recognized both nationally and locally as greater Birmingham, Alabama's #1 team in homes sold. Over 850 five-star Google reviews. Call 205-542-1996 today or visit GustyGhoulsGroup.com. Just Google Gusty Ghouls Group. See what everybody's saying. That's 205-542-1996 or visit GustyGhoulsGroup.com today. Bruce Feldman joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. And Bruce, we've been talking a lot about 4th of July, grilling, different things of that nature. What is do you have kind of a go-to? Do you have a routine? Are you a master griller? Do you spend a lot of time on the grill? Do you let other people do that? Where are you on as far as getting all the food prepared this weekend?
It's funny. One of the best lines I've ever heard from a football coach was, I give it to Greg Schiano. He said, there are two things every man in America thinks he can do. One is coach football, and two is work a grill. So I would fit into the category of the latter. I probably squeezed out the juices of a lot of hamburgers in my day, but I just kept on patting it. I do not claim to be great at that. We never usually have too much of a plan because I feel like depending on travel schedule, it makes it kind of tricky as to where we are. But it's usually a good day where you try to spend time around your family, and it's more of a hamburgers day for us. That's about as exotic as I think we get.
I'm with you. I don't have a lot of the smoking and the brisket mastered like some folks do, but hamburgers, hot dogs, Kaneka sausage will be good to go. So I wanted to get to your article that's up now, Raising Arch, how Cooper and Ellen prepared Texas quarterback for the Manning family spotlight. And some of this is unfair because before you wrote this article, you had been around the family a little bit and him, and you had a pretty idea how things had worked. Greg and I kind of similar to that, but the further we go in his college career, which hasn't even seen a ton of playing time yet, it is evident how good of a job they have done, maybe not only in preparation, but managing what's already come his way. How were they able to do this? How were they able to keep him sort of grounded and not let this get completely out of control as some people may have expected?
Yeah, and that was actually, as I sat and thought about, what would I want to write? And so I had talked to Cooper about this. I knew him a little bit, not well, over the last year, and it was an angle, to be honest, I probably wouldn't have seen 10 years ago. It's just now I have, as a parent of 11-year-old twins, I'm much more wired for parenting and some of the issues that come up with it. And so I'd approached Cooper. I said, hey, would you and Ellen at some point like to sit down and talk about raising Arch, some of the things that went into it, some of the rules you guys had, because everybody knows, Archie Manning, legendary football figure, beloved football figure, and Peyton and Eli, super successful. It's the first family of football, and it's kind of the royal family, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. But the difference, I think, with Arch compared to certainly Peyton and Eli and Cooper growing up as Archie's son was they didn't grow up in a social media world. They didn't grow up with camera phones and all the distractions and challenges that come with it. So, we had talked for a while, and they were like, to be honest, Cooper was great about it. He said, look, because I had broached him, he was initially, open to the idea. And then when Arch was started a couple of those games, middle of last season when Quinn Ewers got hurt, he said, no, he goes, do you mind holding off a little longer because we just don't think it's the right time to do this because, he was going to be the starter, but still, it felt like it was Ewers' team at that point. So I revisited, went circle back with him this off season, and Arch said, yeah, I think Cooper said, yeah, I think we're open to do it. So I had a great conversation with them, and it was fascinating because there were so many things that jumped out of their rules, but also the challenges and everything else. It was a great conversation I had, not realizing how much it would resonate with people, not just college football and football fans, but a lot of people from the parenting side of it as well.
Bruce Feldman of Fox Sports and The Athletic joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, discussing his article on Arch Manning and Cooper and Ellen, his parents, how they've raised him. And was there much detail given to you? We know that he leans on Archie. We know that Peyton and Eli have been a part of this, but like what the frequency is between those. Like Arch told us, quite honestly, he said, my grandfather calls me twice a week. He said, I talk to him every Thursday before games, and he gave us some things, share some things that he says to him. Some was light and funny, some more serious advice that he didn't want to share with us, which we appreciated that. How much information did you get on how often either Cooper or Arch or Ellen are talking to any of those about how to handle things, what to expect, and what they might do?
Yeah, it was interesting because both Ellen and Cooper did bring up, as good and great influences as Peyton and Eli are. They were like, they really weren't around much, and Cooper said, to be honest, he said, aside from the Manning Passing Academy, which obviously, this year just passed a few days ago when they had it, and Mardi Gras, he said, we're probably around them like 4 or 5 nights of the year. That's it. Now, Ellen said Archie was around all the time and still is, and that's been great. But she was like, it's Cooper who taught him how to play football. And I think that, and it's funny because obviously Archie, was a different style quarterback than his sons, but Cooper was like, I think he gets his athleticism because he's a much more athletic quarterback than certainly Peyton and Eli were. I think he gets that from Ellen, who is a great high school athlete who's in her high school Hall of Fame for track and volleyball. But it was a lot of the rules and structure that they put in specifically for all three of their kids. And then you had a kid who I think is really, as the way they described it, wired not to, he didn't want all the stuff that came or could come with being the next Manning or being a famous, athlete before he was really an athlete. He didn't want that. He just wanted to be a regular guy. And so I think that helped, and that helped the structure. But they went into a lot of detail also about how he's grown from an independent standpoint since he got to Texas. Because, as great of a talent as he is, Cooper was honest. He was like, look, he was still the kid that we'd have an 8 a.m. baseball tournament an hour away, and we had to drag him out of bed, and he'd be like in the back of the car. I'm so tired. I don't want, all that. And now they said he's the guy who, wants, is adamant to be the first guy there at practice every before dawn run and all those other things. So I think they've seen kind of this evolution of a lot of this structure has really taken hold and matched with his competitiveness.
We're talking with Bruce Feldman, his article up now at The Athletic on Archie Manning and his parents, how they've navigated this course to get him to become the full-time starter at Texas. Were there distractions or obstacles or just items that you found by talking to the family that they've had to navigate, they've had to deal with, they've had to sort of go through that maybe you weren't expecting, or maybe some a little more complicated than you anticipated hearing about?
Yeah, the one that right now is like a current thing, which none of them have like great answers for, is I think because, as you said, and it's a lot of there's Archie, the grandfather's great way of, there's a charm and there's a down to earth nature to him. And this is something that I think Archie instilled in Arch and all the boys and everybody in that family was, if somebody comes up and approaches you as a fan, just take the time, take a picture, and that's how we are. But I think what's been different is Arch could be walking to campus or sitting going out to eat, and somebody will, it's almost like being surveilled. Somebody will be filming him or take pictures of him. And he said, I don't know exactly what to do. Should I turn and smile and wave? Should I just, keep my head down? Or, so I think it's one of those things where you feel like you're always being observed. And I think for a regular college kid who's 21, I think that is a different kind of challenge than I imagine, especially the filming part, because that's not something that was going on in Knoxville, 30 years ago, or going on in Oxford 25 years ago. And I think those are things that he's still getting acclimated to, especially if it's only going to get bigger now that he is the guy and he is the starter, and all these other things are out there for him now. I imagine he'll roll with it fine, because that seems to be his nature and everything else. But it's definitely been a challenge for him, what they told me.
Talking with Bruce Feldman on the Higginbotham Hotline. We'll share his article that's up now in the Manning family from our Twitter account at Mac and Cube. There's obviously a lot of confidence in what he can be as a Texas quarterback. We saw glimpses of it last year. We know the ability is there. Most people are just assuming that this is going to be seamless and he's going to be great. But was there anything else that you learned, anything that you heard from anybody involved in this story that gave you extra confidence that, yeah, Arch is going to be that guy?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people. Like, it's a big staff. You guys know a bunch of people from there too, I know. And having talked to a lot of people I trust at Texas who've been in the game for a long time and seen greatness, they have raved about him from a makeup standpoint, a competitiveness standpoint, but also especially a football intelligence piece, in addition to the athleticism, in addition to all the things that I think if his name was Arch Williams as opposed to Manning or Arch Smith, he would be a guy that he would stand out. I mean, when you go to a practice on a Friday or whatever, I remember being out there. It's like physically he would, like, you notice him more than probably you did Ewers. So I'd say, Ewers didn't have ability, but I think there is just a dynamic athletic component to him, but also the football intelligence piece of it. That's one of the things that, and the way people respond to him. I think those are things that the guys on the Texas staff are really, really, and have been really excited about with him.
It's crazy to think about just kind of what that team may be with him, and then sort of how much further can the hysteria go? Because we haven't had a guy coming out of high school like this in a long time. Like, how much bigger can everything around him become, in your opinion, if he is super successful this year, Bruce?
I think it can get a lot bigger, and here's why. They didn't win a national title, and I'm not saying they're going to this year. They can. I think the defense is better. The adjustment, this better than anybody. They got to replace 4 starting offensive linemen, including both offensive tackles. You add that with they lost some really good players, scattered around the rest of the, in addition to the offensive line. So there's an adjustment. But I think we're talking about a team that, if you look at the rest of the chessboard, I don't know, when I look at it, I'm like, I think Texas is a team that's going to be there in the end in the national title game, because I'm not looking at the rest of the, everybody else, where you think are powerhouses have some significant flaws or significant question marks. So based on what I've heard from, the people I trust at Texas, I think Arch is going to have a huge year. And I think Sark is a great play caller and will be great for that. So I think if this thing gets momentum, especially if they win week 1 against the defending national champs on the road at Ohio State, but even if they don't, I think I expect this, the kind of the intrigue around Arch to keep growing because of who he is, because of kind of how he carries himself. Look, I think they did a great job with the Canes ad that came out over the weekend. I think there's an aura around him that's a really interesting one. I would say this, my story on, raising Arch that went up on The Athletic middle of last week, that is I think the second most read story I've ever done at The Athletic.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, it's crazy because that it's not even been out a week, and the intrigue and the fascination around him is that big. And again, I think once we get into the season, I think it's just only going to get bigger and bigger.
I wanted to follow up with another quarterback you've recently documented at The Athletic, and that is South Carolina's Lenora Sellers. We all anticipate a big year. We've seen him take over games. We know what he's capable of. But it's a cool look at kind of how he got to where he is today. And then maybe in a similar fashion to Arch Manning, how he has stayed grounded. Introduce our listeners to the Lenora Sellers that you now know through putting that story together that they might not have any idea exists, Bruce.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words on that. I am so glad I decided to do that story on Lenora. I got into it because I was like, man, he's fun to watch. I don't know much about him. And let me look and see why, And then I remember I talked to the high school coach and then talked to the parents, and everybody I talked to about him raved about Lenoris. And it was more than just, oh, he's this big athletic guy who's almost impossible for people to tackle. He is super smart. He is super grounded, and, was a great student, and, has wanted to be like an architect since he was in the 5th grade and still does. And, got passed over in the recruiting process a lot. He was committed to Syracuse and at one point Virginia, but that's because that staff went from Virginia to Syracuse. Almost nobody else was that interested in him. The high school coach was like, he wanted to go. His dream school is North Carolina. I reached out to them several times, and they weren't interested. Even South Carolina, which is basically, he's in their backyard. They didn't offer him till late October of his senior year. But they did offer him, and eventually they flipped him. And Dowell Loggins, who's now the OC at App State, he really bought in. And that year they had Spencer Rattler and Lenoris redshirted. I think they were like, we're not taking a transfer quarterback. This is the guy. They believed in him, and it was rocky, as you know, the first week of the season. They play Old Dominion, and he doesn't play well. They don't look good. And I think what was, forgotten or maybe overlooked was there was only one returning starter on the entire offense. They sputtered all over the place. There were some good moments in the first half of the season. He gets hurt. He probably shouldn't have played. He had a high ankle sprain against LSU, and then, probably shouldn't have played the next time out against Ole Miss. They get blown out. But then once he settled in and got healthy, he tore it up. And I just think he's only going to get better and better because of what's in his head, because of how smart he is. And it was awesome talking to the parents about him, and he could have left. I mean, his dad told me one school offered him, $4 million a year, and they were like not interested. They didn't come to school, to college to get rich. Now he's going to do well financially at South Carolina for sure, but I just thought it was a really cool story. Everybody I talked to, including Lenoris, was awesome to hear about and hear from, and how this kid, and again, he's a kid. I think he's still 19. Has come to be who he is. I think he's going to be so much fun to watch.
Hey, Bruce, I'm not asking you to call out Lenoris' father, obviously, but we've heard Diego Pavia say he got offered 2.5 to go somewhere for a season. We hear 4.5 from him. Like, how inflated are some of these numbers we're hearing people throwing out about what they're getting offered to go places? And maybe the inflation comes from the people offering it. They're trying to get their attention, even though they wouldn't be able to give them that. And some of it just sounds egregious.
I think, let's put it this way, because some of the numbers I'm super skeptical of. I think oftentimes they get put out there by agents, and these are also agents, by the way, who are, charging 20%, not what you normally hear in the professional football world of 2% and 3%. That's a big difference. And I think a lot of times they're trying to set and reset the market. I'd say this. And, I had asked his dad about, and that's what he had told me. The thing that I would say, though, is, you've seen, and I've seen figures where have been reported where this quarterback's getting $4 million or $3 million. I'm thinking if that guy is getting $4 million, Lenora Sellers is a bargain if he was getting $4 million because he's a much better quarterback
Absolutely.
than some of the other guys. So I use that as kind of the sounding board. Now, credit to Nora Sellers, Lenora's dad. At one point, he was like, my son was like, "Hey, Dad, you need to get a new truck. You know, because now he's got to deal with a Mercedes dealership around South Carolina." And his dad told me, he was like, "I don't need a new truck." He goes, I got all these, every mile I got on mine is a memory of driving him to quarterback coach, or driving him to school, or driving him to this and that." And it was cool because he's got like an old, I don't know, it's like a 15-year-old truck, and I'm sure it wouldn't be too much for Lenoris to get his dad or hook his dad up with a new Mercedes or something like that. And I think they seem to be the same people they were before everybody in the SEC and college football world knew who Lenora Sellers is or knows who he is. They seem to be the same grounded people. And I thought that was probably one of the coolest things about the story.
I don't think there's any doubt. Bruce, thanks for sharing with us, man. There's two cool, really stories that you worked on and wanted you to share some more details on them. Thanks for hopping on with us today. We'll share those from our account.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Cole.
Absolutely. Bruce Feldman, Fox Sports, The Athletic, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. We'll be back with bad box scores of the day next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We are in July, Tuesday, July 1st, 9:46 right here on Jox 94.5. We'll get to some bad box scores of the day here in just a moment. But as we move along towards the rest of the show, Greg, if you're looking to move in or out of a home, who should you call?
It'd be Crocker Moving Service, a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. Whether it's your whole home packed up and move, your company headquarters moved across country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room, these guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you've purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's crockermovingservice.com. It's crockermovingservice.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Service for your next move.
All right, hearing what you heard from Bruce Feldman there, just on Arch Manning and Lenora Sellers, does it give you extra confidence in what you think they can turn into this fall?
Well, starting with Arch, he's always just been super grounded. I mean, I think that's a hard thing to do, considering how much people were asked of him, how much people were trying to get to him, even throughout his recruiting process, how normal it was. You know, just being a normal family, a normal kid that's trying to decide what school he's trying to go to, and kind of a little bit under the radar when he would take visits and all these other things. That's a very high-profile family that's often hard to kind of keep what you're doing out of the news. I thought they handled it pretty dang well. And then I think the advice that Cooper's given to Arch, and I'm sure Peyton and Eli and Archie, all of them, what they've done to make sure that it's as normal as humanly possible. Focus on your own personal development. Focus on being the best player you can be, and the riches will come down the road. I mean, he's not sitting there leveraging year to year where he's going to go, what he wants to do, and who he's going to go play for. He could have very easily done that, and I'm sure he's being paid very well. But I would imagine people are coming at him from every possible direction with endorsement opportunities. And I don't know a whole lot that he's involved with at the moment because of the focus that he has currently on football. As far as other parts of Lenoris, I sensed that he came from a family that was grounded. I don't believe for a second he was offered $4 million. I certainly don't believe that Diego Pavia was offered $2.5 million. But I do think that his family has done a good job with him. He's an intellectual kid. He's a smart kid. And I think he's a deep thinker in my experiences with him. And that sometimes can be helpful. Sometimes that can be hurtful. But his progress last year was really, really impressive. And here's hoping, because of how good a kid he is, that can continue into this year.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. I mean, we had a chance to visit with him. He's awesome. He really is. Just a super sharp kid and very grounded and cool to hear. All right, we'll get to our bad box scores of the day next on Jox 94.5. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 9:53 right here on Jox. Going to get to our bad box scores of the day. First, Greg's going to tell you about Shannara Flooring.
Well, Shannara Flooring's great. I really appreciate right now the time that you could, or the money you could save if you take advantage of the time that's been afforded to you by Shannara Flooring. Fu has decided to give $5 off per box when you order CoreTech Flooring by Shaw, which is currently in stock at Shannara Flooring. You can get $5 off per box if you order it today. This waterproof, pet-proof, durable, increases the value of your home or business. If you don't want the CoreTech flooring, though, you can get 15% off flooring now through tomorrow. So you have one more day to take advantage of these savings. They start at $150 and only go up from there. So get 15% off today by going to fooandyou.com and buying and upgrading your home with Shannara Flooring.
All right, quickly get into our bad box scores of the day. I will take you to the AF1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's back. They're going.
Yeah.
Remember our friends?
Is that the arena?
Yes.
The Wheeling Miners.
Remember our friends out in Washington?
They were the
Roughnecks?
Nope.
No. They're the Generals.
No.
That's taken.
I don't remember Washington.
They're the Wolfpack.
The Commanders.
Wolfpack. That was the team that was having all the drama back and forth, and they were going to have to cancel things and weren't going to be able to play. But they're going out there in Everett, Washington. They didn't show up so well against the Albany
Firecrackers.
Close.
Firefighters?
The Alligators.
No, Firebirds.
Firebirds
took down the Wolfpack 98-12.
I'm sorry, what?
Washington scored 12 and Albany scored 98.
98?
And not in a high school girls basketball game either. Actually, a professional football game.
98 points?
A 50-yard professional football game, actually, is where that took place.
It could happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get the run game going.
They got it going. That's actually more of the passing game that they had going there. Yeah. It was not a great day for our friends at Washington. Also, on the gridiron, not to be outdone, in the IFL, that's the Indoor Football League.
Oh, yeah.
The Vegas
Vipers?
No.
Dang, no, that was
Stallions.
XFL.
Nighthawks.
Okay.
Just got
like
past
that.
the Iowa. They've been the same team forever since Kurt Warner played there.
Barnstormers?
Yes. Vegas took this game 82-46.
Legacy.
That's it?
Explosive offenses, man.
Just a little bit of
Not
offense
great.
there.
Kurt Warner ain't walking through that door.
No, he is not. However, the passing yards were as a tune of 303 to 197, outgained them 294 to 180 on a 50-yard field, by the way.
Okay.
So
Oh.
those are your bad box scores of the day. We're back tomorrow. 3-man front coming at you next.